Welcome to Title Time. It's a happy Sunday here at Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan, where this afternoon we will have a new champion, the fourth champion all-time of the USPBL, as the Utica Unicorns will look for their second title ever, and the Westside Woolly Mammoths, the number one seed, look for their first title in this four-year history. My name is Chad Bush, alongside Jeremy Otto, Brooke Fletcher, alongside with our in-game on-the-sideline reporter. Jeremy, we're excited here. A beautiful Sunday to celebrate what a banner year it's been for the USPBL. A sold-out crowd, over 4,600 today, standing room only. This is the excitement this league has brought. Everybody's ready, and boy, they couldn't have two teams that are hungrier for a championship here today.
No, absolutely, and you'd love to see a team have a chance to win for the first time here today as well. That's the exciting part, and the more exciting part is to see how many players have moved on to the minor league ranks and now a Major League Baseball player. And the talent on the field is getting better and better and better. That's what makes these games so exciting. That's what makes a championship game like today so exciting. So it's going to be some good baseball in the diamond here today.
Let's get into this matchup. We saw yesterday in the ball game, the Utica Unicorns win the contest 5-3. They were able to get Ty Hensley through the game with a complete game, 9 innings pitched. He gets his fourth win. The table set for Utica to come in now with Donald Goodson, a hot right arm, and a guy that is a converted utility guy. Talk about Goodson in the matchup for the Unicorns today, up against it with a West Side team that's hot.
Well, obviously the velocity that he showed from the position at shortstop is why he's now a pitcher, because anytime you transition from shortstop to pitcher, there's got to be something there in terms of why you should convert. But that's something that kind of popped off the table and said, hey, this guy could be a really good pitcher. He's still learning, but they also really like the way he is learning. He's progressing extremely well from where he was at, even a couple months ago. So this is a guy that they really like, a guy that can, throw mid to high 90s. They think he's going to be more, top hand around 93 today, just because they want him to go long in a game like this. You don't have to necessarily, because they also have some guys in the bullpen that they will rely on, but they'd like to get at least 6 innings out of him just to set the table for what they hope is a championship day.
And it won't be easy, because the Detroit native Goodson is going to be going up against a hot Woolly Mammoths team, a team that did not start this season, Jeremy, with the kind of fire that they have down the stretch. Just a 3-11 start to the season, but they have won 25 of their last 35 and 4 of their last 5 to get to this point. Boy, they are hot, and they've got the pitcher of the year, Matt Cronin, on the mound, a guy that just got here on June the 20th. All he's done is come in and dominate for this West Side team, leading them to this title contest.
And it's really fun to look at these pitching matchups the last couple days and look at, what we have in front of us. Yesterday was a good one. Today might be the best matchup of the year, according to these two managers here today. And he's the guy that they're going to lean on, with his slider. That's his best pitch. His fastball is one he locates very well. He's much more of a locator than what we'll see on the other side in Goodson. But that's okay, because Ty Hensley is very much a locator as well. He can light up the fastball, but he did a really good job of picking his spots yesterday. So that will be a factor here today as well for Mr. Cronin on the mound. But a guy that I'm really looking forward to see for the first time.
No doubt. Let's get to the starters for this ball game. It will be, we talked about both starting pitchers, Cronin and Goodson, for the Woolly Mammoths and the Unicorns. But this is a lineup that we're going to see the Woolly Mammoths roll out. Ryan Dobson will lead off. Dobson is at shortstop. Sonny Cortez will bat second. He's at second base. Will Johnson will bat third. He's in left field. Ethan Whisker, the MVP of this league and on fire, will bat fourth and cleanup for Brian Kluppe and the Woolly Mammoths. Drew Kitson will bat sixth, 232 hitter in center field. Jack Barbie behind home plate will bat seventh. Jake Polchin is over at first base. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth is Webb Little, one of two little brothers on the team for the Woolly Mammoths. And, of course, Brian Kluppe, who is joined and the leader of this team since midpoint, and a guy who coaches in the offseason in Australia. He's excited to get his team here, and they're well prepared. You look on the other side, Jeremy, and Utica has played now. Played a game yesterday after having a bit of a layoff, but the Westside Woolly Mammoths now have a 8-day layoff. They face what Utica faced yesterday, coming in perhaps a bit cold.
Well, if Utica is any indication, though, it really didn't affect them. They saw that live pitching all throughout the week. Is it a factor? Maybe, especially since they're watching some more competitive games yesterday and the two semifinals on Friday and Saturday. But I think they'll be ready to go with the adrenaline that, hey, this is our first time here. We're hungry. You want this thing here today.
So Matt Cronin from the suburbs of Boston, Framingham. He went to UMass Dartmouth. It's a D3 school. He's 5'10", 210 pounds, and boy, has he taken this league by storm. The pitcher of the year in the USPBL. His numbers are gaudy, Jeremy. 7-0 with a 2.30 ERA. What can we expect today from Matt Cronin?
Well, he's a guy that relies on his slider. You know, it's a guy that he can snap one off, obviously, to begin at bat, and then snap one off to finish you off. He's going to locate his fastball really well, like we talked about earlier, and I think if he does that here today, we could see some snappy innings out of these two pitchers and maybe a little bit of a grind. That's kind of what we saw at the beginning of yesterday. The score at the end doesn't really, indicate that, I guess, with 8 runs between the two teams. But that was really a grinded-out game until the 6th, really through 9 innings. So it could very well be that here today again.
All right, we are set to go from Jimmy John's Field. He's Jeremy Otto. My name is Chad Bush. Brooke Fletcher will join us here down the line. Frank Mazzilli, your executive producer today. Let's have a great ball game, and let's get this title game a-rolling. It will be the woolly mammoths with the white tops and the white pants with the white bill and the purple bill. And up first are the Utica Unicorns leading off. Coley Curry takes a called strike from Matt Cronin, a guy that was dominant and a Division III All-American as a junior. Up and away, but it's a guy who battled Tommy John surgery. He had that his sophomore year in 2017. And then just a year off of Tommy John, came all the way back to be an All-American and lead his team in wins and strikeouts. Coley Curry ahead of the count 2-1. Overcast day, comfortable 65 degrees as the count moves to 2-2. Good sized crowd, and this thing was pre-sold out. 4,600. This could be the largest single crowd in this ballpark's 4-year history. Here comes the 2-2. Slider is lifted foul and out of play.
Yeah, there's, in terms of people walking around and people kind of on the berm and in the left field side of things, there's people all over the place right now. So deceiving in terms when you're just looking in the seats, because there's people not hanging around necessarily in their seats, but all the way around as well.
Coley Curry hanging around in this at bat, Jeremy, 2-2, and this is a guy that started the game yesterday, you'll recall, with that line shot double.
Yeah. And
it went off the wall, the top of the wall, did it not?
It did, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, including the right fielder yesterday, thought it was out. And that was the first mistake that almost cost him, but good job to get back and prevent him from moving to third.
The 2-2 is popped up, and this will be easy and playable for Bonicki, the second baseman. Rather, Cortez, the second baseman. So 1 up and 1 down, and that'll bring up Jimmy Latona, who yesterday was 0 for 4 in the contest, and their 5-3 win for the Unicorns. It advanced them to today's ball game.
It's a really nice win. I mean, it was a win where they had to fight off a potential late rally on the other end from the Beavers. 3 runs off a big fly to right field when we kind of thought the game was over and dead in the water. I mean, that's the mistake you make in a playoff atmosphere, I guess, when it's only a 5-0 lead. It felt bigger than 5-0, just how the Unicorns had held the lead the whole game and just how it was moving in terms of Ty Hensley on a groove.
He was in a groove for sure, and then the decision late by Jim Essian to keep him in. So with the tying run and the go-ahead run at the plate, the tying run on base.
So I talked to them about that. We were kind of speculating yesterday whether, like, hey, did you guys go to the mound with the intent of bringing him out in the ninth? They said, no, we told him that this was his last batter. And if he didn't get that batter, they were going to pull him at that point. So kind of interesting.
You got some good scoop, buddy. Appreciate that. Swing and a miss at one of those nasty sliders that Jeremy spoke of. And it's quickly 2 up and 2 down. Here at the top of the first for the Utica Unicorns, a team that has 28 wins on the year, led by manager Jim Essian. And the Unicorns are trying to get back to their championship season of 2016. Jim Essian in his 3rd year. Willie Martin an assistant in his second year, and John Dombrowski also in his second year. Lancelot, the mascot for the Unicorns. 2 down, top of the first. Nobody on, no score. The Westside Woolly Mammoths, Matt Cronin forces a fister to third, and Colin Rideout is going to get out to end a quiet 1-2-3 top of the first. Here come the Woolly Mammoths as we go to the bottom of the first. No score on championship day from Jimmy Johns Field.
It's no small decision. In fact, it's one of the biggest. Great neighborhoods, vibrant communities, and award-winning schools. Mike chooses access to recreation, police officers, jobs, university, history, creativity, innovation. So when you find that place that has all of these things, it's smaller. That's what
So here comes Donald Goodson II out of Detroit, Michigan. A young man who played last year in this league as a position player. He has transitioned on the mound. He went to Divine Child High School in Dearborn. He went to multiple junior colleges, and he has been voted most improved, Jeremy, in this league. And boy, is he deserving of it. He's an exciting player, and he is just fun to watch.
Now, you talk to the Unicorn staff, and they say, hey, there's no doubt about it. He's learning on the fly, but he's doing a great job at that. A fastball that can be electric throughout the game, a curveball that is a really good one, and a changeup that's his third best pitch, but it's also a solid addition. So to have 3 really good pitches for a guy that hasn't pitched until he got to professional baseball is pretty impressive.
3-2 with a 2.31 ERA for the right-hander Don Goodson, who is going to carry the load today for his ball club, the Utica Unicorns. And leading things off for the West Side is Ryan Dobson, a great defensive leader for this team, but he's done his work offensively as well. Swing and a miss. He's down 0-2. Dobson, a former product of the Arizona Diamondbacks. As Goodson winds and deals, ahead 0-2, pitches down and in. This is what Goodson needs to do, Jeremy, to be effective getting ahead of guys. You have strikeouts and walks both high.
Yeah, they're evens, 64-64, which is not something you love to see, but for a guy that's developing and a guy that's working on it, it's not terrible. So obviously, as he becomes more of a pitcher's pitcher, if you will, a guy that not just throwing the baseball, but pitching the baseball, he's going to improve upon that.
Fouled out of play. That was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but more a location fastball. Donald Goodson is well-traveled. In 2015, he went to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College. And he battled his way, got himself to Northeastern Junior College in Sterling, Colorado. I'm not making this up. He went to 2 Northeasterns, not in the same state, not in the same area. The point is the long tenure of this young man in college has paid off. There's a fly ball, foul territory, playable in foul territory, and put away in foul territory by De La Cruz. 1 out.
Yeah, De La Cruz, a guy that they really like at the defensive spot, whether he plays third or any other spot in the infield, and uses the large foul territory. They know that he has a bunch of room and just run right to the baseball.
Ton of room down the both sides. It's the longest walk to the dugout you'll ever have in baseball, in professional baseball. It's meant that way, and it's meant because there's a swing and a drive, so you can sit and watch drives like that. Sonny Cortez, touch 'em all. He burns the berm and right with a rocket shot, and the championship is underway with a 1-0 Woolly Mammoths lead.
Yeah, he left no doubts in that monster swing from the left-hander's batter's box. Take a look. Great path to the ball, carrying that over the right field wall. He can trot easily around the pillows there.
That is his 28th RBI of the year for Sonny Cortez, a guy not known for hitting the bombs, but my goodness. He was on that one, Jeremy, and it's 1-0. Westside makes an early statement with a shot to right.
Well, better way to come up with one than in this game here, huh?
No doubt. Here's Will Johnson with a little bit of chin music up and in as the fans continue to file in, enjoying some of the best food you'll ever taste at a ball game. There's $2 hot dogs yesterday. Is that deal still on today?
That's a good question. I'm not sure it is, but
how about those Bavarian sticks?
They were solid.
You got nice with those Bavarian sticks.
Yes.
Brooke Fletcher, don't laugh. You snuck a little bite in with some cheese. Snuck a little cheese by Brooke Fletcher. That's not happening. 3-1 the count. Nobody on, 1 out. 1-0 Woolly Mammoths. Bottom of the first. Championship Sunday. And here is a walk to Will Johnson. So Goodson gives up the dinger after there was one easy out. And now it's sandwiched around a walk, and this has been part of the trouble for Goodson in his development. But, Jeremy, teams are only hitting 169 against this guy, and he's just tough to get on, but you can't give free passes up.
No, and if you're the Woolly Mammoths, that's certainly in your game plan. Hey, work the count a little bit, see where we can be, maybe take a couple close pitches to work the count and work from there. I mean, leadoff walks, 1-out walks, 2-out walks, they're all the same in terms of what they mean, and especially in a game like this, teams will often capitalize. The good teams certainly will.
No doubt. Here's Ethan Whisker, the MVP of this league. How about the tear he's on? He leads the league in home runs with 14, 46 RBIs, leads the league in slugging percentage with 600, has 9 doubles, and he's hit 12 of his 14 home runs since the All-Star break.
And this is a guy that started off slow.
This is a high chopper to third, looking to second for one. They'll get it. The relay to first, not a chance. Hard slide into second, but a safe and fair slide. And out at second base is the lead runner, Will Johnson.
Yeah, really good job by De La Cruz. Maybe if he does that all over again, he feeds it to Blaze a little bit more on target, but still with Whisker scrambling down the line, it was going to be a close play nonetheless. So to get the important out at second base for the second one here in the first.
And that'll leave it up to Dan Williams, a guy that knows both these teams quite well. Here's a inside off-speed pitch. Williams batting .248. He started this season with the team that he's staring down the barrel of, the Utica Unicorns. He's now Woolly Mammoth. 2-0. 1 run in on the Cortez home run. The line shot to right. 1-0. The number 1 seed and the home team, Woolly Mammoths. Swing and a miss. Had some cheddar upstairs at 91.
It's a lofty swing by Williams, kind of swinging out of his shoes there.
5 home runs on the year for Mr. Williams.
All-league mustache as well.
Yeah, there goes the runner. The pitch is high. The throw down to second is too tall. And in safely is Ethan Whisker. What else can you do if you're Ethan Whisker? Why not steal a base? He does that. He's done that before. That is his second stolen base, though, of the year in just 3 tries.
maybe element of surprise a little bit here with 2 outs.
There's a looping liner to left. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Whisker's going to round third. He'll score, and it's a 2-out RBI single from Dan Williams going oppo.
Nice approach, not trying to do too much, and this is exactly what we saw yesterday as well in the later part of the first inning by this Unicorn squad. He's taking that pitch the other direction. Nice at bat in the end to work it to a 3-ball count. It's exactly what you want out of your 5-hole hitter here in the first.
Yes, sir. So, 2-0. The Westside Woolly Mammoths. We wondered how they would respond. They've been off since last weekend. There's a nice off-speed pitch over for a strike.
So the Woolly Mammoths kind of taking a page out of the Unicorns book from last night. Maybe catch and watch and say, maybe we should maybe we should do that as well.
Maybe we'll be okay without having a game. No, you're right.
Take a little thing here, take a little thing there, combine it for a nice little title.
It breeds confidence. Watching Utica last night, doing their thing. Drew Kitson. There's I don't know what that was, off-speed pitch that sort of broke out like a 2-seamer. Runner on first, 2 runs in. A manufactured run and a solo blast. There goes the runner. Goodson steps off the mound, is going to run right at Williams. Now we get a chase down between the shortstop, Dobson, and he's tagged out to end the inning. But not before 2 runs are scored. In the bottom of the first, the Westside Woolly Mammoths with a 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the second. You're watching in ESPN 3 Championship Baseball. What a year it's been in the USPBL, a banner year. How about Randy Dobnik, the first MLB player this year, and the reliever for the Twins. 9 players signed, a record by Major League Baseball this season, and a sellout crowd today. By the way, Dobnik was a member of the 2017 Utica Unicorns.
Sure.
So
he's risen through every level in such a short time, and now he's thrown 9 straight shutout innings. It's impressive.
There's a leadoff single for Dan Elliott. He beats the shift. They had him shifted, and he found himself a little hole between second base and the regular second base spot. So a leadoff single for the Unicorns, who need to get something going here. And it's early. I say they need to get something going here. Maybe that's a little bit too aggressive, but we saw yesterday getting base path, getting confidence. The Beavers really didn't get anything going until the 8th inning. There's a half-hearted swing by Kyle Orloff, who's now batting .378. Orloff entered yesterday's competition batting .317. He's playing in just his 14th game of pro baseball. Swing and a miss, and a biting slider off the hot hand of Matt Cronin, the Bostonian. Runner on first, leadoff man on with a Sinai single against the shift. Slider outside the zone on a waste pitch. 1-2.
Chad, take a close look here at Kyle Orloff because he has a self-proclaimed nickname of Marty. For Marty Brenneman, the Cincinnati Reds fine announcer, father of Tom Brenneman, guy who works for Fox.
Oh, they're legends, the Brenneman.
Yeah, well, actually they both work for, one's radio, one's TV, so it's kind of a cool partner out there in Cincinnati. But he calls himself that. I think some of his teammates and his coaches kind of make fun of him for it. But
that's pretty cool. It makes sense. He's a Cincinnati guy. Well, we can appreciate a guy who appreciates broadcasters.
Absolutely.
There's a fly ball to right center. Whisker had that played perfectly. He'll retire Marty, and that is out number 1. Marty had a big day yesterday. He was 4 for 4, so first time he gets out in about 8 days.
Right.
he had to feel that walk back to the dugout after
it's like, what's
recording
this?
it out for the first time in a long time. Here comes Barzell, the right fielder and the right-handed hitter. 288 on the year, 2 home runs and 8 runs driven in, and he fouls one up and away towards M59. We're in downtown Utica at Jimmy John's Field. What a wonderful mecca of baseball this thing has turned into in its 4th year. It turned into it instantly, but in its 4th year, it's just gone better and better and fine-tuned as the years have gone on. And what a way to cap it off with a banner year and a championship day.
It's really something this area had been missing, for a long time. I mean,
it has, and has really brought not only the community in Utica and the downtown district, but this whole area and this Metro Detroit community, and specifically northeast Michigan. Swinging a foul back, but this is fun for the whole family. What a year it's been here in the USPBL.
Cronin looks pretty locked in here today despite the leadoff single here in the second. Gotten ahead of batters. They have given him a little bit of a battle so far here in the first couple innings, but a snappy 1-2-3 first frame trying to weave out of this leadoff base runner now.
Swing and a miss at a slider down on strikes. And the second strikeout of the game for the starting pitcher, Matt Cronin, the pitcher of the year in this league. He's the second Corsair. Corsair, of course, is the mascot for UMass Dartmouth. Dylan Collette, who also played in this league for the Birmingham Bloomfield squad. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Corsairs and UMass Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Here's Adam De La Cruz with a man on. There's a line shot down the line. That's a base hit. That's going to score a run potentially. We'll see. Hugging and chugging is Dan Elliott. They will hold him at third, and a wise choice. But second and third now with 2 outs after the line shot double rattling in the corner from De La Cruz.
Yeah, he hopped on that one right away and was able to pull it down the left field line. A good job by Johnson to scramble to that ball quickly. Otherwise, I'm with you, Chad. That's maybe a run for Dan Elliott as he rounds third base, but good job by Johnson to fire it into his cutoff man to prevent anything more there.
No question, Will Johnson saved a run.
How about De La Cruz? It's a guy they really like, a guy average-wise who wouldn't stick out to you right now as a standout, but he's a guy they've thought about moving up in the order a couple times. I mean, he's only been here 7 games, including today.
Right.
That's an impressive feat for him so far.
Yep, and he's riding the waves of his last at-bat yesterday late in the game. He drove in a run with a single. So here comes Kyle Bonicki. Kyle Bonicki, 195 on the year, looking to drive in his 17th and 18th runs. If he can do that, he'd tie this title game in the second. His team trails by 2. Line shot, right field base hit. He has done just that. In to score comes Elliott. Right behind De La Cruz, and they will hold him up. Throw is offline, but he's held up at third on the Bonicki single to right. It's an RBI, and the lead has been cut in half in Utica.
Good approach there, just kind of punching it to right field. De La Cruz took a wide turn around third base. He was convinced he was coming home and might have made it there because there was nobody else really covering home plate as Barbie had to shift to his left and get that skipping baseball. But in the end, maybe best to play conservative here.
Third hit in the inning against Cronin, who is 7-0, pitcher of the year in this league and has not lost a game this year. He showed up on June the 20th.
Locked in.
And so are these Unicorn hitters. Runners at the corners. And now 2 strikes, a generous call for the Unicorns' Bulldog right-hander, or the Westside Woolly Mammoths Bulldog right-hander, rather. Time called at home plate by Malik Blaze, 167 here. So it's been the bottom of the lineup, and guys batting 220 or lower coming through. Strike 3 called. Backwards K frozen pizza, but not before they get to Cronin. 3 hits in the inning, 1 run scored, and don't go anywhere. This championship game is tight as we go to the bottom of the second. 2-1, Westside on top of Utica. Two to one as we go to the top of the second inning at a 2-1 game. Bottom half of the second inning, and the Woolly Mammoths come to bat. But it's the bottom of the order that did some work with 3 hits in the inning. But they do leave 2 on. 2-1 ball game. Got a great one brewing here on a Sunday and a title time of year. There's a swing and a lazy fly ball to center, and reading that all the way is who else but Coley Curry. Everybody but Curry was nervous that ball was going to drop down in front of him with the wind blowing in. Curry had it all the way.
I'd say sometimes he's too nonchalant, but he makes every play, so I'm not going to say that. I mean, he knows what he's doing out there. He reads it extremely well. Whether it's balls that he has to go back on slightly or balls that he has to come in on, he knows exactly where he needs to be, and he's an impressive piece to the heart of the diamond for this Unicorn squad.
He sure is. So that was Drew Kitson, who was finishing up his at-bat. You'll recall that there was a caught stealing from Dan Williams when he was up to bat. So here is Jake Barbie. It is Jake Barbie. And he looks at a strike. 0-2. So Goodson getting ahead quickly here. Infield bunch up the middle. Pitch down low. Outfielders and infielders bunched a bit.
Yeah, Barbie's a guy that checks in at 286 in the average column, and his manager says, hey, look, 286, he's kind of up in the upper echelon of hitting in the league, but because we have so many other guys, and not only on our team but around the league, he doesn't get maybe the recognition he deserves at the plate as well.
Agree 100%. Pitch is inside and low. Goodson hopping around after that.
And let's face it, after a long season like this is, all baseball seasons are a grind. When you get to playoff time, to be catching and hitting this well, it's pretty impressive.
Sure is. There's a hard shot hit deep to right, but the wind knocking that thing down. And Barbie's going to fly out to Bardzell for out number 2.
Yeah, the flag is limp in right center field today, but I think you're right. I mean, the wind did affect that, and we saw that yesterday as well, too. Just the subtle pass to the ball that kind of swirled on the baseballs as they were coming down on their trajectory. Messed with a couple of the outfielders, but everybody the last couple of days has handled it with a charm, it seems like.
They have. Baseballs are, the weather is not a baseball jumping type climate right now, but we saw the ability for balls to rise out of here quickly. We saw that in the Sonny Cortez home run in the first from the Woolly Mammoths. There's a pop-up, major league pop-up. Foul territory. Coming over is De La Cruz to make it in foul territory for out number 3. So a 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Goodson as Polchin pops out. We go to the top of the 3rd inning, 2-1. The Woolly Mammoths over the Unicorns. Here come the Unicorns to bat in the top of the 3rd inning. Unicorns getting 3 hits and 2 base runners left, Jeremy, last inning. We saw the Beavers not take advantage after some traction on the base paths yesterday. They fall by a couple of runs. Utica needs to execute a little bit better when they have some opportunities and base runners today against this really tough Bostonian Matt Cronin.
Yeah, even though they came up with 5 runs yesterday and kind of spread them across, I mean, they did have a little bit of those struggles in terms of cashing in on base runners and expanding their lead. It was 1-0 and then 2-0 for the longest time, and then they had the big frame in the 6th where they were really able to pull apart. But they got to realize quick that maybe that's not going to work as much here today. It might be a little bit more of a shootout, which is a little bit of a surprise to me because I thought we might see these 2 pitchers really, set down the side quickly.
Right.
But you got to roll with the punches here and see how they adjust.
All right, Jackson, Tennessee's Coley Curry to start things here in the 3rd inning. Curry, 290 hitter, popped out to right to start this game for the Unicorns. Strike called there, 1-1. Matt Cronin, the pitcher. Cronin, a guy that deals up a gapper here. On the run, on the chase is Kitson, and that's going to bounce on the warning track and over the fence for a ground rule double. So Coley Curry, back-to-back days, gets a ground rule double on deep drives to right. Jeremy, different ways of getting ground rule doubles.
And he played that one perfectly in terms of where Kitson and Whisker were playing him. Kitson was well into the left center field gaps, and Whisker was a little bit more shaded towards the opposite way, the right field line. So he tucked that in and took advantage of what the stats say he doesn't do, maybe.
Yeah. Swing and a foul at the plate. Here's Jimmy Latona, who struck out back in the 1st. So that is now 3 of the last 4 hitters have hits against Matt Cronin. And this is a guy that came in 7-0, pitcher of the year in this league, and has been dominant. So credit this Utica team for what they've done offensively so far. Opponents hitting just .222 against Matt Cronin. It is a deep bullpen, though, Jeremy. Again, you haven't played in 8 days. You've got a full staff. There's a line shot. Rather fly ball to left. Tracking, though, is Johnson. He'll make the catch. Holding at second is Curry. He won't tag. And that is the first out here in the top of the third inning.
And Cluppy was pretty frank about in terms of what he has behind Corona. He said, yeah, we really want him to come out and throw the best balls that he can and lead us through this game. But if for some reason it's not his day or he's struggling at any point, we do have a solid foundation in that bullpen that we could go to at any moment. And that's just kind of what you have to do in a game like this. There's no playing like, hey, we have 3 games in the next 3 days. It's one game and you're done. So they got to manage the pieces a little bit differently than you have all season.
That's true. Here comes McHenry, Illinois' Colin Rideout. Number 3 hitter in the first baseman, batting .304 in an RBI opportunity that would tie this game. 2-1 top of the third. Runner on second, 1 out. The lefty Rideout awaits the righty Cronin. Cross breeze, 65 degrees. It's a football weather afternoon in a fall, but it's a championship to be settled here for the USPBL in its 4th year. Runner edges off a second. Pitch outside the zone.
Yeah, where's our summer gone? It's slowly creeping away before our eyes here.
It is.
It's good and bad, I guess, right?
Gone. Oh, I love football. I love fall, and I love baseball in the fall. I think it's perfect. But yes, it's a tough transition for us Midwesterners.
Yeah.
We know what's coming. Good old man winter. We got a full count here. Tying run on second. There's a fly ball center field. Kitson will have room. He'll circle the baseball. Coley Curry's going to tag. Here comes a throw to third, and they got him in time. A bullet throw from Drew Kitson in left center field, and they nail Curry tagging from second to third.
Now you look at it, a good lineup there and a really good throw. He knew right away that he wanted to run, throw a little offline, and a swivel tag by a little nice job to keep it on the bag.
That ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-1. Unicorns trail the Woolly Mammoths.
I need it. Yes. Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. Earlier, Jeremy and Chad were talking about Dan Williams' journey and how it's been a unique one this 2019 season. He actually started off with the Utica Unicorns and now plays with the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He started the season off with the Unicorns, a strong start at that, hitting .375 in his first 3 weeks. After suffering a hamstring injury, he was then traded to the Westside Woolly Mammoths around the All-Star break. It wasn't an easy transition. He started off slow. He was struggling to get something going, getting used to his new teammates and recovering from that injury. But since he's recovered, he's been hitting .300, and he's been a huge asset to this Westside Woolly Mammoths lineup. But he is playing today's game with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, if you will. He said he's been talking a little smack to his old teammates, trying to get in their head a little bit. We'll see how that pans out the rest of this game, Chad.
Thanks so much, Brooke Fletcher. Yeah, what a story it is to be able to play for both teams in what Dan Williams has done. Being that he started the season with Utica, now he's with the Woolly Mammoths. Jeremy, it's kind of an odd dynamic, but let's be honest, it's also part of these guys being so close and coming together. But it was an adjustment for him, as Brooke told us. Thank you, Brooke Fletcher.
Well, yeah, and you got to think he's coming off the injury, too. So not only is he adjusting to a new team, new coaching staff, new teammates, but he's also trying to rehab and recover from an injury that hampered him and caused him to not get as many hits as he would have, like 4 for 45. That's not unlike... That isn't like him, obviously, and what he's done down the stretch has proved that he's not that. So it's been quite the turnaround for him.
Sure has, and a testament to him healing and adjusting to his new team. All right, here comes the number 9 hitter, Webb Little. He pops it up, and not much room here, but a courtesy look by the catcher, Jimmy Latona. As a young fan from Macomb Township, will take that one home. So Webb Little, 193 hitter. He has a brother that is on this team. His name is Sam Little. They're both from Fayetteville, New York. That's upstate. They both went to school upstate at Utica. And there's a looping liner just over the head of the second baseman, Banicki. It's a leadoff single for Webb Little.
A really good effort by Banicki at second base. Here's a hot shot and just over the outstretched webbing that time. But yeah, it's a cool story definitely for the Littles to not only play together in college but play together at the professional level. You almost never see that. I mean, you see a few dad and son combos in Major League Baseball times when you have the dominant ones, but it's a neat thing for sure.
It is fun to do. Not many people get an opportunity. Ryan Dobson, the batter, he's the leadoff hitter, and he loops one off the roof of the pavilion down there to the right. We were down there yesterday and enjoying the suites.
Yeah.
And how wonderful this field and the way Andy has set up this Jimmy John's Field and allowing all the fans below to be so close to the action. Goodson's pitch is in the dirt. Solid stop by Latona. No further advancement from Webb Little at first base. 2-1. Westside Woolly Mammoths on top. Trying to add on that here in the bottom of the third against Donald Goodson, a converted position player from a year ago in this league. He's now full-time pitcher, and he's touching 95. Here's the pitch. Popped up, foul territory, and playable. Right out in foul territory, off the tip of the glove. And he falls into the netting, and some fans get a close-up view. Yeah, you'll get players falling into your seats, into the web, all kinds of thing, and that's a play that Rideout usually makes, and we'll see if Dobson can't burn him here. More importantly, though, it looks as though that Rideout might be dinged up. Let's take a look. I believe when he went into the webbing, this is not good. He's going to sit down now and get some attention from the training staff. But let's take a look at what happened on that foul ball and see if looked like the knee, Jeremy, somehow got tangled up. And that's what they're attending to now. This is concerning.
I think his leg might have come up on the brick portion. You see the brick there.
Yeah, good shot right there. Yeah. Just above it is that net. And hard to tell, but you hope that for Utica's sake, I mean, this is their number 3 hitter, a guy that has been such a big part of their lineup in Colin Rideout. Position players as well are, it's not like there's as many available position players at this level in baseball as you would have in others. I mean, there's 2 position players showing available for the Woolly Mammoths, and I believe Utica has 2 as well. So you have to be very cautious, liberal when making decisions. And we hope the young man is okay. So let's reset where we're at now. It's 2-1 the West Side over Utica in this championship Sunday. The West Side, the favorites as the number 1 seed, and Utica winning yesterday to get to this championship game, Jeremy, in a game that we called 5-3 over the Beavers. But at this point of the ball game, things have tightened up. But both pitchers seem to have shown flashes of vulnerability after the batting against average was so lopsided. Both hitters and offenses seem really focused in this matchup.
Yeah, both teams have done a really good job of working the count, putting themselves in situation, not necessarily ahead fully, to the 2-1, 3-1 counts, 2-0, 3-0s. But they're, fouling off those extra pitches, making them work a little bit harder as the game goes on. And maybe those won't fully pay off now, but when you get to innings 5, 6, 7, when these 2 pitchers start to rack up the pitch count, that's going to make them dip into the bullpen maybe a little bit earlier than they can. But base runners definitely have been a factor from that.
Here's Dobson in a 2-strike count. There's a slow roller to the left side of the infield, and under the glove of De La Cruz, and now Blaze botches it, perhaps because of De La Cruz's interference. Call it what you want. We'll settle it up. They're going to call it a hit for now. Runners at first and second, nobody out for the Woolly Mammoths, who lead 2-1.
Yeah, I think he thought that ball, De La Cruz, that is, might jump up on him a little bit, expecting more of a hop as he kind of scooped his glove off the ground, where you kind of want to keep that glove down until you know you have the baseball in there. But in the end, here's a dangerous situation with runners on first and second with no outs.
Squaring a bunt, getting it down is Cortez, and the sacrifice works barely. Boy, the throw to Benicki, the second baseman who was covering at first, and that throw was up the line. He had to pull that thing back away from Cortez's jersey. They do get the out. Runners advance to second and third, and that'll set the table for Will Johnson.
That's a really good play all the way around. Cortez laying down a perfect bunt pretty much down the first base line, making it tough for both Latona and Goodson to get to quickly. Goodson kind of slipped as he delivered that throw. He stayed with it, though, and delivered a dart over to Rideout, and then he had to snatch his glove back to make sure his arm wasn't cut off there.
Yeah, that's fighting for your own limb. So, here's the deal. A one-run lead, but runners is second and third. And Goodson trying to get out of this thing, and he's helped out here with an excuse-me slap swing by Will Johnson. 0-2, Goodson quickly ahead. We've seen him 0-2 a lot, Jeremy, but that pitch to get out and that get-me-out pitch, we've seen counts grow. He'd like to nail it down here.
And that's something that'll come with time.
Sure.
Not only working with your catcher, working with your pitching staff to know what best fits you in those certain situations, locating that pitch as well.
Johnson stays at 1-2. Feel for the game, feel for pitching. A young man who has not pitched at any level above high school.
And I mean, you can look at his 2.31 ERA.
Line shot, left field, base hit. Into score comes Webb Little. Right behind him is Ryan Dobson. The throw to the plate, not in time. Advancing to second is Will Johnson with a 2-run single, and it's now a 4-1 Woolly Mammoths lead.
I really like the approach by the Woolly Mammoths here at the plate, not really trying to do too much, just golfs it out the outfield, knowing that it probably scores too with the speed coming around the base pass. And Dobson, your leadoff man, who has 15 steals this year, but I mean, they had the one big fly early on to trigger this offense, but it's been the singles and the station-to-station baseball which has gotten them to this expanded lead now.
And the walls start to move in a little bit tighter as the MVP of this league struts to the plate. It's Ethan Whisker. He looks at strike one. 2 runs in for the Woolly Mammoths here in the bottom of the third. They lead at 4-1. Whisker, line drive, center field. This might score another. Rounding third and not produce a run, but it does produce another hit. Runners at the corners, 1 out, and a conference now to go see Mr. Goodson.
Yeah, what I was going to say before the previous single as well, Chad, is, I mean, you can look at his numbers all you want. 2.31 ERA, 64 strikeouts, the 169 opponent's batting average coming into today, but ultimately he is a fresh pitcher in terms of the position. Really hasn't been tasked with a situation like this on the bump, and I mean, you can say all you want. I mean, he's obviously had some big-time moments in his previous stops, but the mound is a big deal in a game like this. You have to have a certain
it's a big spotlight.
bulldog mentality that you go out and you
Sure
blank
do.
everything out around you. Otherwise, you're going to get swallowed up by the moment. So,
Yep.
not saying that's what's happening right now, but it's a factor, certainly.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that emotional side of and controlling yourself as a game manager, as a pitcher, that no other position has to deal with.
And that's why when you look at Major League Baseball, you lean on your veterans, whether those guys are still throwing 97, 98 by the end of their career. Those are guys who have been in the situation, led teams on postseason runs. You think of the Verlanders of the world, the Madison Bumgarners,
Right.
the guys who've been there, done that, and then
Yeah.
they're transitioning to World Series run 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just gets better and better, it seems, even if their stuff is getting worse.
Yep. Whisker edges off of first. There's a line drive shot to right. It's deep, but not enough. Chased down in the corner and caught by Bardzell, but it's enough to score the run from third. Tagging and scoring is Will Johnson, and it's now a 5-1 Woolly Mammoth lead as they put up a 3 spot here in the third.
Well, there's the station-to-station atmosphere again. It's not a play that'll be headlined of after the game, but you keep expanding this lead, and that will get you a nice headline.
Yes, sir, and it's an RBI, second of the game for Dan Williams, the former Unicorn. Here comes Drew Kitson. Flew out to center field his last time up, taps it back to the plate. Goodson will handle it, very comfortable with a position play, and he fires it into the runner. Safe again by Rideout, and he makes the catch to end the inning, but not before 3 runs are scored on 5 hits. And at the end of the 3rd inning, it is now 5-1. Jeremy Otto with a play-by-play at the other side of this timeout. You're watching the championship of the USPBL right here on ESPN3.
Well, the lead expanding for this Utica Unicorn, or the Westside Woolly Mammoths squad, as they scored 3 the last half. Single by Webb Little kicked things off in the air on De La Cruz, allowed Dobson to reach. Johnson with a single, Whisker with a single, and a sacrifice fly by Dan Williams has made it a 5-1 advantage now for the Mammoths. It's 4-5-6 coming up here for the Unicorns as they look to get things brewing. They had a single run back in inning number 2. That was off the leadoff single by Dan Elliott. The man is up right now to start this frame. Elliott checking in at 279 in the average column today. 1-1 swerves outside. So Matt Cronin certainly started this game locked in. He's recently had 4 combined base runners since the 1-2-3 first frame. Elliott working himself to a 3-1 count here. So it's Dan, Kyle Orloff, and Ashton Bardzell. That's some good patience to coax a walk. Kyle Orloff will look to channel some of that energy he had yesterday. 4 for 4. An extra base hit in his 3rd at-bat as well. It's a guy they talk about with his stance when you talk with the coaching staff. A little bit unique, but they say, hey, he hits it well. We're leaving that alone. Here's the 1-0. Gonna pop it out of play. Orloff 0 for 1 today. Fly out to right field his first time up. Really strong guy. See that in the swings he takes. He gets a rip of the baseball. Cronin trying to pin that to the outside corner. It's laid off for ball 2. 2-1 on this designated hitter. Unicorns doing exactly what they wanted to start this frame here. That's looped at as Pulcher coming over to slide by Cortez. Cortez taking charge of that situation as he calls off Pulcher and collects out number 1 in emphatic fashion. Check it out. Had to go a long way and slide a little bit extra to haul that one in. There's some good middle infielders in this league and certainly this playoff series. We saw some good play yesterday. First pitch to Bardzell, crowds him inside for a strike. Ashton 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. talk to the Unicorn staff about him, and they say baseball instincts really stick out, and also his speed. That's one of his more underrated qualities that they like about him. Can run at will on the base pass. Barbie going to sit down on that one behind the dish. So 2-1 on Barzell. Elliott's patiently waiting over at first base. He led off this inning with a walk. Now the 2-1. Again, inside but laid off of. Second 3-ball count we've seen here in this inning. Neither pitcher has really forced too much of that. Only one 3-ball count before this inning. That was to the last batter in the third for Matt Cronin. Good location on that one for strike 2. And Cronin certainly is a locator with his fastball. Tops out 88 to 90. But he can put it where he wants to. Popcorn again here. Easy cooking for Cortez as he slips over in front of the first base bag for out number 2. Now it's Adam De La Cruz. He just keeps it rolling. He's 3 for 3 his last 3 at-bats. Pair of singles last night and then the double here today to start things. And that's something you look at maybe back in the second inning where they had already scored a run off the single by Elliott, and the double by De La Cruz drove him in, but he reached third, and you had a first and third situation with a couple outs, and then the strikeout to Malik Blaze, and maybe look back at that and say, we probably should have capitalized in that situation. Those 2-out hits are key in a championship atmosphere like today. Just dust off the outside for ball 1. You look at De La Cruz's numbers coming into today, significantly different from even yesterday. He was batting .222 before the game yesterday. Came in at .260, or checked at .273 today. That's going up again after the double here to begin things in the second. Here's the 1-2 pitch off the plate inside. But you see why that the Unicorns have really dabbled on the idea of maybe moving him up in the lineup. But they said, hey, we want to keep him down in the lower third for now just so he adjusts to this level. All this infield is back right now for the Mammoths, looking to chunk out of this inning without a run scored. Trying to strand that leadoff walk. Swing and a miss. Cronin able to dust off the next 3 after the leadoff walk. So 5-1 in favor of the Westside Woolly Mammoths here in the USPBL Championship on ESPN3.
So, you drive one of these, and because of that, you carry one of these. But did you know as a AAA member, you can save more of this whenever you fill up at Shell? If you have a AAA card, a device to access the internet, and know your phone number by heart, you too can save at least 5 cents per gallon every time you fill up on gas. Now, doesn't that just make more sense? It's easy to start saving. Here's how it works. Step 1. Visit AAA.com/Shell and sign up to become a Fuel Rewards member or link an existing account. Step 2. Stop at a participating Shell station and either present your Fuel Rewards card or enter your Fuel Rewards alternate ID/phone number at the pump. Step 3. Start saving at least 5 cents per gallon each and every time you fill up on gas. Join the Fuel Rewards program and start saving today. Already a Fuel Rewards member? Link your account at AAA.com/Shell. Not a Fuel Rewards member yet? Sign up today at AAA.com/Shell. AAA. Expect something more.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. It's a 5-1 lead for the Westside Woolly Mammoths here today. The number 1 seed here in this playoff bracket. Unicorns able to collect a leadoff walk back in the top of the 4th inning, but 3 straight outs recorded by Matt Cronin. The pop out, and the strikeout wiggled him out of the jam without any further damage. Now to the bottom of the order, checking to the dish here for the Mammoths in the 4th. It's Barbie, Polcher, and Little. They're combined 1 for 3 so far today. Little has the lone hit back in inning number 3. Barbie checks in at 286 in the average column, 7 doubles and 22 ribbies as well. This one down low. There's a lot of things to like about number 20. His bat is above average for a catcher. And the way he leads his pitching staff, they talk about it on the Unicorn squad. They say, hey, a lot of why Cronin is so successful is because of Barbie. His command of the game, the way he calls pitches, really leads his pitching staff in the right direction more often than not. This one downstairs, 2-1 now. Barbie with a fly out to right field in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. Now the 3-1. Inside, he walked him. So leadoff walk for both of these 2 pitchers here in the 4th. Cronin able to record 3 straight outs. Let's see how Goodson responds. Walks have been an issue for Goodson on the mound. He came in with 64 Ks and 64 walks into the championship game here today. Wants to look Barbie back. That was something earlier in the game where we saw Dan Williams scamper off the first base bag because Goodson really wasn't paying much attention to him. Williams was tagged eventually in a rundown between 1st and 2nd by Rideout. That's just another thing involved in pitching that you got to learn, I guess, in terms of holding runners on. Whether they're speedy or not, got to pay extra attention. Here's the even pitch. Wallop to center field. Curry in his tracks, a couple steps back, and he's going to make that catch for the first out. Now Webb Little will get his 2nd at bat. He had a single to run scored back in inning number 3. That was an inning where they saw 4 base runners and 3 runs. Really good job at capitalizing by the Woolly Mammoths. Little represents the bottom of this order. That one's going to bounce. Latona doesn't know quite where it is. Now he locates it when it's a little too late, and Barbie able to scamper to 2nd base. So 1-0 here on Little. Ryan Dobson, top of the order, is lurking on deck. They've really done a good job of spreading across the production up and down the lineup today of the Woolly Mammoths. Little gets under that one and swerves it out of play. Defensive alignment today for Utica looks like this. It's Elliott in left, Curry in center, Barzell in right, De La Cruz at 3rd, Blaze and Bonneke in the center of the diamond, and Rideout over at 1st. Latona doing a good job completing the battery here today. Now the 1-1, feeding low. got under another one. This one's going to be fisted to the outfield. Shortstop Blaze calling that one all the way as he touches the outfield line there for out number 2. And now Ryan Dobson will get his third crack at things. He's 0 for 2. He did reach base back in the 3rd inning via the error off the hands of De La Cruz and came around to score. Dobson, a real prototypical leadoff hitter, combining obviously that ability to get on base with the .306 average and then the steals. He used his speed to his advantage the last time around when he was on base in inning number 3.
And Jeremy, you see that a lot with their lineup and guys that are able to steal bases. Cortez, 13 of 18. Dobson, 15 of 15. I mean, these guys can run. You don't see that every day in this league with teams running. It's not a stealing league, but these teams, this Woolly Mammoth team can certainly run and run well.
On the ground, shortstop side, Blaze plays the hop, throws over to first, and a good stretch by right out to end the threat. So both pitchers want the leadoff man, but both retire the side after that. We head to the 5th after this here on ESPN 3. Jeremy and Chan back with you here from Jimmy John's Field in Utica. Calm day for baseball, kind of cloudy, overcast. It started fairly sunny, but it has since gone away, and the wind has become a little bit of a factor for the outfielders today. Nothing crazy, but nice day, nice fall day for some playoff baseball, huh?
Rite of passage into the fall. Nothing better than settling it on a Sunday with a championship. And the top 2 teams fittingly playing for it. The number 1 and number 2 seed, and big lead right now. But hey, this is still anybody's ball game. But the Unicorns here in the middle of this game would love to get some traffic on the base paths and get some runs back here after that 3 spot the Woolly Mammoths put up in the 3rd.
Here's the 0-1 to Bonneke, slides outside. And well, you look at last night's game, even later than that. It was a big 5-0 spread for the Unicorns. They gave up the 3-run bomb, and all of a sudden the Beavers were right back into the game. So they got to remember that and keep it in perspective here and realize, hey, it's only the 5th inning.
That's right.
2-1 slides outside, and this is how you do it in terms of working the count. They did a nice job of it to start the 4th with the leadoff walk to Elliott, but Cronin did a better job of shutting him down 3 straight batters after that.
Tough call there. Bonneke wanted that base on balls, but he'll have to earn it. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Full count delivery walloped on the first base line. That's going to get down and fair, and it's going to trickle all the way to the wall. Hitting the bag at first base here, and Whisker gets it in after the head first slide at second.
Bonicki with a nice piece of hitting says, you know what? I don't need a free pass. I'll get a stinking double and I'll earn it. I'll take a bonus ball. And he ripped it down in the corner. And this is the way Utica wanted to start this thing here in the 5th.
So Malik Blaze tried to avenge his 0 for 1. That was a strikeout back inning number 2. Really good guy defensively. They value his athleticism, even have compared him to Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox. That's high praise where Anderson is at this point in his career.
Sure. Blaze looked like he was bunting to get on. He didn't square around early there, so we'll see what he does in this at bat. Light hitting, but with your team down by 4, might be a position where you swing away. Or he's perhaps playing cat and mouse, trying to sucker the defenders in.
Just chiseled into center field, and it's going to get down. You see that gamemanship there by Kitson, acting like he was going to catch that ball to try to draw Bonicki back to second base. He didn't bite.
Well, that's all strategy, and that's smart by Blaze. He draws the infield in a bit, and he also, in the meantime, sucks Cortez in at second base. This ball flies over Cortez's head. Yeah, it was probably going to drop anyway, but that's a heady play that is meant to draw the defenders in and do exactly that, hit it over their heads. Well executed, well thought, and here come the Unicorns. Runners at the corners here, nobody out, partner.
And the top of your order up in C.C. Curry. Top of the order combined today, just 1 for 8. Curry has the lone hit back in the 3rd. It was a double. He got a good piece of it as well.
Well, this is reminiscent of the 2nd inning when they got 3 hits off of the ever-present pitcher of the year in this league, Matt Cronin. But just 1 run out of that. They can't afford to get just 1 run out of this situation, Jeremy.
Here's the 1-1. Low and outside. Curry, the Western Kentucky graduate. Character, goofy guy, happy-go-lucky. But he combines all that to a really nice baseball player on the field as well. Barbie falling down from impact there. Did he catch that ball? No. I was going to say.
Yeah, it would have been bonus points. It wouldn't have got him out, but would have been bonus points. But back to your point about Curry, I like what you said. Happy-go-lucky, he's a leadoff guy. He's a fun leader.
Sure.
Guys get behind Coley Curry, and they like him a lot.
Here's the 2-1. Again, whittled off the mask of Barbie.
Well, it also whittled off of something on Curry because he threw his bat down and he's working something out. I'm not sure what it hit, if it hit off his thigh or his foot, but he does have a protective foot piece on that front right foot, and he's reeling a bit.
Sometimes it just seems to find the area that's not quite protected when you wear those, it seems like.
Isn't that right?
Here's the 2-2, whip and a miss. Good bear down job by Matt Cronin to bury the first out here in the 5th.
You're not kidding. 5th strikeout of the game, and that's a big one. With runners at first and third, pitchers make their money with less than 2 outs, and guys at third getting shut down and never getting able to go home. So they need to somehow, I don't care if they need to call an Uber, they have to get this runner in from third. There is no doubt the Unicorns need to get one in here if they want to have any chance.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sorry about that.
All good. First pitch to Latona's inside. He is nothing for 2 so far today. Strikeout in the first and a fly out to left back in the 3rd. Latona, a guy that hit a lot of home runs in the early part of the year, 7 coming into today. But he really had to adjust because pitchers started to snap off the curveballs and the sliders on him. And sometimes that's what makes the great hitters. Can they make that adjustment to singles and doubles. And
Jeremy, you might want to think about running here. You got a 2-1 count, hitters count, 1 out. You want to stay out of a double play. Perhaps they start Blaze here to stay out of a double play. Let's see what they do. Not running.
Fly ball left center field. That's chasing Kitson and Johnson back. Johnson there to cut it off. They will tag. Wow, what in the world happened there? Kitson in the end going to make the play. Both runners do advance as Bonicki scores. Blaze to second base. That could have been disastrous, though, what happened in the end.
Seen so many miscommunications this year in the outfield, in pro baseball, college baseball, every level of miscommunications in the outfield on routine flies. And I don't know what's going on, but thankfully everybody's safe out there. There was not recorded. At the end of the day, it is a Jimmy Latona RBI. You see, this is called off by the center fielder Kitson at the last minute. It looked like Johnson's number. The throw into second's well tardy. That's the right call. He's safe. But in center field, it is the center fielder's job. He can call off anybody at any time, but I don't know why he would have called him off there. It didn't make sense. That's one I just would have rather seen Johnson handle, but hey, they recorded the out, and the run was going to score anyway on the sac fly.
So right out the last chance, or bigger pardon, the only 1 out here in the frame. Or is there 2? There should be 2, right? There's 1 out on the board.
No, I think you're right. No, there are 2 outs. Yep, you're right. 2 outs.
Sac fly, as this one is piped to left, and that confirms it, right?
Yeah. Confirmed.
5-2 as the Unicorns score another run here in the 5th. More when we get back on ESPN 3. Max Bain now takes over on the bump here for the Utica Unicorns. It's a Northwood product, solid Division II program in the middle of the state here, Chad. And let's check his numbers.
Yeah, Max Bain, good-sized kid, 6'6", 255. He's out of Clarkston. He was a Wolf in high school, and he was a Timberwolf in college at Northwood University. And 5.09 ERA is his 14th appearance. He's 1-0. This is his 23rd inning pitched. 17 hits, 15 runs, and opponents hitting .207 against the right-hander Max Bain from down the road in Clarkston, Michigan.
So he'll face Sonny Cortez to begin this 5th inning. So Goodson goes 4. I think it's the right decision to take him out at this point. Giving up 5 runs, you're at a point where your team needs to score runs and really can't afford to give up anymore. But I think you're trying to kind of feed off that 1-run inning you had, if you will. I mean, you would have liked to get more with the traffic again that they had on the base pass, but take it a little slow here as you're in the middle innings and see what can happen.
Yeah, and this is a different look. Bain goes 6'6", Goodson was 5'9". You know, they look different from a standpoint of seeing it out of a 5'9" body versus 6'6". It's a big difference when you're a hitter. But both guys have had trouble with walks, as 19 walks and 23 innings pitched for Max Bain. And he's on the verge of walking Cortez here. So similar type pitchers with those types of numbers, but they can't afford to give free passes now.
Here's the 2-1. Brings the heat at 93. His previous pitch was 94. Cortez put a charge into his ball back in the first inning. It's a solo shot to get this offense moving. They scored 2 in the first and then 3 in the fifth.
Yeah, that was just a burner to right. Wind wasn't as much of a factor then either. It wasn't helping him by any means. Might have been hurting him a bit. That was a bullet.
Full count delivery low and inside. Not what Max Bain wanted to start his outing, but you saw there what we've been seeing kind of all throughout this game in terms of them working the counts. Both of these two teams have, and it's certainly paid off maybe a little bit more for the Mammoths, but leadoff walks are something you look back on and just shake your head.
Yeah, both pitchers, we talked about it, have struggled with the walk this year. Goodson just had a couple in his start. He did a nice job, but not the way you want to start the inning. But, hey, you got to bail yourself out, have your defense bail you out, and that is not a way to bail yourself out. Throwing it away, it's going to add another base.
Cortez to second base, and anytime you throw over, you risk a major possibility of them getting the third, given how massive these foul territory lines are.
Well, Bain just looked very uncomfortable throwing it over to first, and the whole way, and he threw it to the field side, and an extra base added there.
That pitch hits the corner for strike one. Johnson not completely happy with the call as he asked where that was.
He said, wait a minute, you're giving a borderline pitch to a dude that just walked the guy on 5 pitches?
There is another.
Boy, that's a well-located fastball. And he comes right back and says, hey, I can put it right back on that spot, says Bain. See if he can do it again.
Maybe a little bit further this time. In there for strike 3. Johnson looks at 3 straight pitches. That one via the breaking ball. And it's a frustrated 18 as he takes a long walk to the dugout.
Sometimes your defense bails you out. Sometimes you got to bail yourself out. And that's what Bain did. He threw the ball away, comes right back and throws 3 of the best pitches we've seen in a row all day out of anybody. I mean, that was outside black 92, outside black 93, and then Uncle Charlie that buckled his knees. Backwards K. Wow.
One close to that same area as well, but called a ball. It's Ethan Whisker trying to make it on base for the 3rd straight at bat. Fielder's choice single. He came around to score back in the first inning as well. Looping, swing and a miss at that one as he dove at it.
It's an over-the-top motion from Max Bain that makes it even a little bit more challenging as a hitter to square up. Whisker's been squaring everything up. Everything looks like a beach ball to this guy.
1-1 is outside. You know, he struggled at the beginning of the year, and you talked to the coaching staff, and they said, hey, we realized the best thing for us to do is say nothing when he's struggling. He's a guy that when he's having fun, he's doing well. So they just leave him alone, let him figure it out on his own, and that was successful this year, obviously. He's right back rolling come playoff time here.
He's came back. He struggled early on.
2-1, whiff and a miss at the top of the zone there.
Fans rooting a little bit harder for Whisker in this at-bat because he's the beer batter of the game.
There you go.
He gets a hit. you're going to see a lot of suds splashing around Jimmy John's Field on the house.
Off the leg of Latona as he sees that one escape all the way to the backstop, and now Cortez is standing on third base here with only one out.
And he's done nothing to earn it. He got on with a walk. He got the second with an error, throw to first, and now he's on third with a pass ball. So this is something where they can try to bail themselves out with, but this is where you hope, if you're the Unicorns, it doesn't come back to haunt you.
That's a rarity from Latona behind the dish as well. He's as solid as they come. Full count delivery now. Good job by Whisker to foul it off there. Dan Williams would be next, and then Drew Kitson.
Jim Essien electing to draw his infield in now, with his team down 3, runner at third, and 1 out in a full count.
Just on top of that ball this time. I don't think that's a bad decision. I mean, it's a game where you cannot afford any more runs to scratch across the plate when you've already struggled to cash in on the base runners that you've seen. So it's a desperate move, but it's almost a must move, I guess, at this point. You gotta.
It's a right call. There's no doubt.
Now the 3-2 again. Off speed, chops at third base side. Nice glove by De La Cruz, throws home, got him! What a sparkling play by a talented third baseman. He charged that ball and threw a strike to home plate, did De La Cruz.
Wow, good call on that. A chopper in between hop, and that's why you play in. Great call by Jim Essien. It pays off with a fire home and the toughness of Latona to hang in there. And they get the out. How about that? De La Cruz to Latona, well played, slid in, and they get the out.
Kind of in between hop as well as he backhanded it on his way in.
Tough hop. Make a play like that and then make a seed of a throw.
Williams with a slicer the opposite way. That one's going to go well foul, though.
To make that throw off balance and then to stand in there, Latona, you know you're going to get a cleat in the thigh. That doesn't feel good, even on a Sunday.
0-1 is outside.
94 on the black. This kid's he's got a little something more than the rest. I love his frame. Over the top. Boy, he's tough to hit. This kid throws strikes. He's going to be in the bigs.
Yeah, he's pinpoint when he wants to be. 1-2 on Williams, is designated hitter. 5 doubles, 5 homers as well. There's a look at his beard. That's before the playoffs. Mustache looks a little bit different. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Skipping and a nice stop there by Latona.
He looks like Mario from Super Mario Brothers, doesn't he? Or Luigi, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I'll give you Luigi. That's a good call. Yeah.
Brooke Fletcher calling you out back here, huh?
Well, she knows her. She's played a lot of Mario Kart back in the day.
Waiting on the 2-2 again here is Williams, the Rock of the Fire. Doing a good job, as all these hitters have really in this inning, of extending at bats.
Well, he's got Kitson behind him. If he wants to be careful here, but it looks like Bain's in a groove. They've got momentum, and he's going to hunt Williams and go right after him.
Swing and a miss. Starting 77-mile-per-hour pitch, and that's a confident Max Bain as he trots off the mound. Leadoff walk strands him again here. Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Otto back alongside Chad Bush to bring you the call. A nice day for baseball as you're going to look at the sellout crowd here today. Largest crowd in USPBL history.
Really just finishes out a fantastic season that saw 9 players get signed by major league teams. Saw the first MLB appearance from a USPBL player in a game, Randy Dobnik, reliever for the Twins, and a 2017 proud alum of the Utica Unicorns. Speaking of the Unicorns, Jeremy, it's time, right? I mean, this is kind of, you feel momentum maybe after that last inning. They get out of the runner at second, nobody out, and now here they get a chance. Maybe momentum's changing a bit. We'll see if they can get to Cronin, a guy they've gotten to, it seems like, every other inning.
Here's the first pitch to Dan Elliott. He represents the beginning of the 4-5-6 spot in the lineup. They're a combined 2 for 8 today. And that 1 for 7. That one belongs to Elliott. He also had a walk back in the 4th.
Tough guy to keep off base down the stretch.
6 home runs, 5 doubles, 27 RBIs as well.
He's had a fine season.
Here's the 2-1 now. Golfed to the shift. Cortez. Ooh. Polchin cannot make that scoop. And that should go into the books as an error.
It should, you're right. But if you're Dan Elliott, you feel like, darn it, I should have had that hit anyway. So it's retribution he feels after a good swing. And, hey, we said they needed to get something going. By golly, they have something going here in the 6th. Maybe, just maybe.
So Kyle Orloff trying to break his 0 for 2 as a fly out and a pop out thus far. These two teams have had a leadoff base runner on in each of the last 2 innings. They have stranded the previous 3. Let's see if Cronin can do that here in the 6th in a big spot. Here's the 1-0. Outside, good block by Barbie. But you can start to feel old Mo shifting a little bit here. If they can get a run or 2 and then hold them again in the next half.
Well, there's no guy you want up there than this guy, Kyle Orloff.
That's golfed into left. Johnson starting in, then has to go back a couple steps. The adjustment works for the first out.
Yeah, but the point has been made by the Unicorns. They're on Mr. Cronin. They're on him. I mean, those are really good swings. So, if nothing else, the guys behind him, Barzell, De La Cruz, Benicki, the guys coming up, they're feeling a little more confident after seeing their teammates have some success against Cronin, at least in swings. Doesn't always equate to hits.
First pitch to Barzell is low. Barzell today a strikeout and a pop out to his credit.
Well, De La Cruz, very confident batter right now in the on-deck circle, and Unicorns would love to get 2 on for him at the plate with a chance to represent the tying run.
That one scoots inside. There's some action down in the Unicorns' pen. Trying to locate that in the 2nd. 2-1 pitch, golfed towards the gap in left field. Good hopping job by Johnson to get on, and he's going to fire back to first as Elliott scrambles back. So a pair of lineouts to left.
Another good swing. Another good swing that's not rewarded with a hit. And you got to be just talking to yourself right now if you're the Unicorns. Good pitchers like Mr. Cronin, though, just seem to find ways to keep the ball up and record outs, even on good swings.
Bobby Kamatis warming up for the Unicorns right now. Stela Cruz looks at strike one. He made that whale of a play down at third base to not only prevent it from going down the third base line into left field, but cutting down the potential run as well by the Woolly Mammoths.
Yeah, he's really raised his average. Last few games, gotten better as the season's gone along. They like his projectability in this league.
Now the 0-2 off the end of the bat. It is interesting to watch guys adjust. I mean, you look at De La Cruz, and obviously anybody going from one league to another, from college to the pros, is going to have that adjustment period. It's just been very quick for him as he swings and misses here. Back-to-back strikeouts in his at-bats in innings 4 and 6. We head to the bottom of the 6th in this USPBL championship. Still a 5-2 lead for the Woolly Mammoths.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. If you take a look at the Woolly Mammoths lineup, you might think you're seeing double. Well, that's because there's identical brothers, or identical twins, brothers Sam and Webb Little. Sam, who plays first base and outfield, and Webb, who's the utility guy, who is playing third base today. Now, this isn't the first time that they both played together. They both played at Utica, and they just got picked up by the Mammoths this year. Now, you would think if you have a set of identical twins on your team, it might get a little confusing. Well, that's been the case for Mammoths manager Brian Kluppe, who just last week, Sam was in the game, and before the game, he saw Webb sitting on the bench in the dugout, and he thought it was Sam, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? You got to get your legs loose for the game, and Webb quickly corrected him. He's like, Coach, I'm not playing today. So it's definitely been an adjustment for the Mammoths and Brian Kluppe this season, Chad.
Thanks, Brooke. That's a neat story, certainly, as it's a neat story in and itself to have two brothers playing on the same team in professional baseball. It's just not something that you see too often. Sometimes you'll see it at the college level. It's certainly popular at the high school level, but quite a story. It's Bobby Kamitas to take over on the bump now for the Unicorns. He checks in for Max Bain, who did a really good job at shutting down the threat for the Woolly Mammoths.
Yeah, Kamitas, 6', 200-pound right-hander out of Oak Lawn, Illinois. Went to Creighton University, where he was a Blue Jay in the Big East. 3-0 with a 1.59 ERA. It's his 10th appearance, Jeremy. He's pitched just over 11 innings, given up 9 hits, 2 runs, 14 strikeouts against 6 walks, and just a 220 average. So his numbers are gaudy and impressive. And they need him in this spot with his team down 3 runs.
Gets it down 0-2 in the count to Kamitas here. just low. Drew a guy who had a battle back from a broken collarbone, sent him down 9 weeks. But he's, all things considered, kept himself up there in the leaderboards and home runs. Checks in with 9 today. Most of his hits are extra base hits. Swing and a miss. Komitas records his first out. And that's 3 combined strikeouts in the last inning and a third for this Unicorn staff.
Yeah, this has been a relief effort. We knew the Unicorns had a fresh pen, but some of these guys coming in really been impressive with the strikeouts and their arsenal. That error, by the way, by Sonny Cortez last inning was his first error in 3 years.
Really?
This is a guy that had not made an error since his senior year in college. A very rare error for a guy who was the Defensive Player of the Year in this league.
I mean, he's made a couple dazzling plays here today. That sliding one at second base where he had to come over and cover the play in foul territory.
Right. Yeah, so unlikely. The good news is that it did not haunt them. Woolly Mammoths didn't score from it, so he can sleep a little better at night, but he'd sleep much better if he had that title to his credit and his team's credit.
Remember that errorless streak that Placido Polanco had many years back with the Tigers?
Yeah, how long was that?
Can't remember exactly. It was a long time, though.
A season, at least?
I believe so, yeah.
Over a season, maybe less than 2. That was something.
1-2 feeds through. That still stands as my favorite Tiger.
Yeah, he did everything. Humble guy, hustle guy, two-way player.
And you could just always count on him in the 2-hole to put the ball in play, you know?
Yep. Cortez certainly has that little Placido Polanco in him.
Here's the 2-2 now. Nice pitch on the outside, 74 miles an hour, gets the call. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Komitas.
Well, Komitas isn't playing around. He's saying, I played big-time baseball at Creighton. Take this little backdoor slider. That was a cold cock.
Jake Polchin now the last chance for the Woolly Mammoths here in the 6th. It's 5 runs off 6 hits and 1 error on the side for the Woolly Mammoths. 2 runs off 6 hits and an error for the Unicorns thus far. 1-0 in there for strike 1.
Yeah, it's 77 miles an hour. I mean, you're throwing that pitch when you're behind 1-0. Quite a bit of confidence in it, and you see why. Oof.
Another at 71 this time. So you go from 93, 94, 95, and Bain to now a slow, methodical breaking ball.
In different arm slots.
Very true.
3/4 versus over the top.
A little excuse me swinging there by Polchin, and Komitas is able to strike out the side here in the 6th inning. That's 4 straight strikeouts going back to inning number 5. We head to the 7th. Chad Bush will take over when we get back.
And because of that, you carry one of these. But did you know as a AAA member, you can save more of this whenever you fill up at Shell? If you have a AAA card, a device to access the internet, and know your phone number by heart, you too can save at least 5 cents per gallon every time you fill up on gas. Now, doesn't that just make more sense? It's easy to start saving. Here's how it works. Step 1. Visit AAA.com/Shell and sign up to become a Fuel Rewards member or link an existing. Enter your Fuel Rewards alternate ID/phone number at the pump. Step 3. Start saving at least 5 cents per gallon each and every time you fill up on gas. Join the Fuel Rewards program and start saving today. Already a Fuel Rewards member? Link your account at AAA.com/Shell. Not a Fuel Rewards member yet? Sign up today at AAA.com/Shell. AAA. Expect something more.
All right, welcome back. USPBL Championship Sunday. And it's the Westside Woolly Mammoths on top in this ball game by a score of 5-2. As we start the 7th inning, my name is Chad Bush alongside Jeremy Otto, Brooke Fletcher, your field reporter, Frank Mazzilli, your executive producer. We're glad to have you along on this Sunday. And boy, we've got a fine finish coming up. Top of the 7th inning. Here comes Utica. And the pitch is started off by Mr. Cronin off the outside corner, just outside the strike zone. This is Kyle Bonicki, the number 8 hitter in the lineup for Jim Essien, the third-year manager for the Utica Unicorns, looking to win their 2nd title in this 4-year of outstanding existence in this USPBL. The 1-1. Flown to center, routine play for Mr. Kitson. And 1 down here in the 7th inning.
Bottom of the order has done a pretty good job at getting on today. 4 out of the 7 chances they've been on. They've also struck out 3 times. So give and take, I guess. But and they had a pretty good production.
One of those guys is coming up now, and Mr. Blaze. And with 1 out in the 7th and your team down by 3, it's deja vu from last night. I know we talk about it, Jeremy, but that was a game as well that was in a similar spread at this point, juncture of the game.
Yeah, 3 runs in the 6th for the Unicorns, and then 3 runs in the 8th by the Beavers, and a spot where a lot of people thought that they were kind of dead run at that point. But a big-time home run in that 8th frame by Haranek, put him right back into it. Ty Hensley, though, the story. 9 innings on the bump, his first complete game in his professional career. 3 runs given up, 6 walks compared to 3 strikeouts, and 121 pitches later. Did a really good job to peruse through that talented lineup.
Sure did. Blaze, who had a hit yesterday and has a hit today, swings and misses. He's behind 1-2, nobody on, 1 out. And time winding down in the Unicorns. We're looking to swing back. They're down 3. Line drive, center field, base hit. So the 3rd hit in this championship weekend for Malik Blaze. The birthday boy, Malik Blaze. How about that? Go Virgos. All right. I am. Good guess. So here comes Jim Essien, and that's going to do it. And you're going to hear this crowd explode for Mr. Matt Cronin, the 2019 USPBL Pitcher of the Year. And the crowd appreciates this. So the book not entirely closed, but it will be 6 1/3 innings for Matt Cronin. And he will give way to the young right-hander, number 3, Daniel Williams. And Jeremy's got the numbers on Dan Williams.
Yeah, 2.08 ERA. He's had 7 appearances, just 1 start, 21 2/3 innings. 5 runs in total given up. His walk to strikeout ratio real good. 18 strikeouts to 4 walks.
So he comes in with a man on, a man out. And a situation, Jeremy, that, hey, look, you've got the tying run in the on-deck circle right now. Got to get base runners on. That's a new pitcher. Strategy, you'd think. See this dude throw a few pitches, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is a point in the game where you want to lock it down here in the 7th. Base runner with only 1 out, and you're turning it back to the top of the order, who hasn't been too good today in terms of producing, but this is a Unicorns lineup that's trying to feed off some energy right now and propel themselves back into this game right away. So they get a couple more runners on, you never know what happens, but Dan Williams brought in to try to shut the door.
Shut the door against a Utica team trying to make a move. Facing a woolly Mammoth team that's just been a beast. The team that's won 4 of their last 5. Started 3-11. And they've won 25 of their last 35 games. And looking to win their 4th straight game here today. And have shown no signs of rust offensively. But right now it's the pitching, Jeremy, with 1 out. And Utica, along with Westside, both have bullpens that they want to look at, and looks like there's some activity down there for the Woolly Mammoths. So here comes Coley Curry, the center fielder, 289 hitter, 2 home runs, 13 runs driven in, man on first, and a man out. Double play depth for the Woolly Mammoths. Pitch is upstairs, ball 1.
Curry today, another solid day in center field. For a guy that makes it look easy out there. Great pass to the baseball.
1-1. So Blaze on at first with the 1 out single. Curry, the lefty, against the righty. Williams on in relief. And he's over the top of that breaking ball at 85 miles an hour. 1 hit in this game. It was a double. Curry has doubles now in back-to-back days. Had one yesterday to start the ball game and come around to score the game's first run in his team's 5-3 win yesterday.
Yeah, 14 2-bangers on the year now for Curry.
It's a healthy number. Swing and a drive to right. This one deep to the track, and making the catch in front of the wall is Ethan Whisker. Ooh, just a little bit of more time in that weight room could have got that thing within a run.
Yeah, right field hasn't been too friendly, it doesn't seem, in the championship series. A lot of wind, cross breeze, knocking that one down. That looked like it might go well over the head of Whisker at first, the way his initial read was, but he did a good job to get back to the warning track and secure a loud out number 2.
Yep, sure was loud. The wind did not help him. No wind, that thing's gone. Fine play by Whisker to square it up, get in front of it. Here's Jimmy Latona, number 2 hitter in the lineup for the Unicorns, looking for their 29th win and their 2nd title in 4 years. Five to 2. Woolly Mammoths over the Unicorns. Runner on first, edges off. Check swing. Ball in the dirt. Strike 2. And the runner will advance to second as the ball get away from the catcher, Barbie.
Now we've had some really good reads by the runners on first base here today on both sides. Blaze also did that back in the 5th inning of play.
Yep, that's right. Pitch again, and the dirt gets away, and Barbie's going to have to retrieve that down the third base line. So back-to-back bases taken on either pass ball, wild pitch. Call it what you want. There's a runner at third and one more of those, and we're talking about a 2-run ball game. Wind continuing to blow in. Ground ball left side, bad hop off the chest of the third baseman Little, in to score. Comes Blaze from third. It's a 5-3 game. We'll see how they score it. But Latona has brought home his teammate Blaze. It's 5-3, top of the 7th.
Yeah, just a wicked hop on Little down the third baseline. He thought he was going to have a fairly routine play in the end, but it skedaddled over his head into left field, and sometimes it takes a break like that to get you back in a ball game, and now it's a 2-run contest, Chad.
Yes, sir. Sounds familiar. Same score we had yesterday in the 7th inning. Or in the 8th inning, rather. Runner on first, 2 outs. Here's Colin Rideout. Takes a bender inside. Mr. Williams. There's 2 Dan Williams on this team, if you're confused like I am. There's a number 3 and a number 15. There's a pitcher and a first baseman. Both are in the lineup. This could be a first in independent ball championship history. In minor league baseball history. In baseball championship history. Here's the pitch in the dirt, gets away from Barbie, who's going to need a bubble bath tonight. My goodness. Another one bounds away from him. And Williams has made him work, partner. He's got a runner on second now in scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, not something we're used to seeing out of Barbie. He's as solid as they come. Both Latona and Barbie is viewed as 2 of the best catchers here in this league, but falling through the thickets here in the 7th inning.
3-1. Line drive left field, base hit. That's going to score another run. Rounding third, headed home Latona. Throw cut off, and it's a 1-run game. It's 5-4. On the 2-out RBI single by Colin Rideout. His 26th RBI of the year. It's 5-4. Here come the Unicorns.
Again, just taking that pitch where it was delivered the opposite way, not trying to do too much. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that Dan Williams cut off that throw. I think Latona would have been safe diving home, but it would have been on the line.
A lot closer than I thought, too, partner. So we've got a conversation at the mound. And with activity in the bullpen, you have to wonder if there's time being bought now. And now we're going to get a conversation between Jim Essie and the manager of the Unicorns. And the umpires are going to come together. And what's this all about, partner?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the run scored, so that's not in question. And Rideout is safe over at first base. Not sure what they could be coming together about.
Well,
no ruling is changing, it doesn't look like.
no, it's 5-4. Conversation's over. The conference is over. And here comes Dan Elliott. So the tying run at first base. 2 runs in the top of the 7th has this thing within a run in the title Sunday game. Outside with a fastball 1-0.
Elliott's reached 6 of 7 the last 2 days here. Semifinal and final action, not too bad.
No, sir. Pitch low again. Boy, a lot of trust and a long leash for Jim Essien with this right-hander. Pardon me, Brian Kluppe in his right-hander. The pitch hit hard between the shift, and it somehow bounces in. Heading to third is Colin Rideout. He'll make it safely. And hanging out after the base hit is Elliott at first. And the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at first. How about that piece of hitting?
Yeah, some really solid pieces of hitting here in the last couple innings for the Utica Unicorns. Just looking to get those base runners on. Now they're starting to drive them in a critical point here. And that's going to be the end of the leash here for Dan Williams.
So that'll do it with the Kyle Orloff strut to the plate in motion. He'll await a runner at third and first. But, Jeremy, what can you say? That's the 10th hit of the game. The Unicorns have out-hit the Woolly Mammoths. The Unicorns were down 5-1 in this game. And it's all the way back to a 1-run game. So, the Woolly Mammoths will bring in number 1. And that is Reed Feely, a right-hander out of California and Bellevue College. Jeremy will tell you the rest about the righty. reliever.
2.25 ERA. He's been in the game 6 times on the bump, 8 innings, giving up 9 hits, just 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, and no walks. So that's what you want as a control, obviously, with the no walks coming into today.
Unreal the way that this Unicorn team has rallied and done it against pitchers that have really been dominant. Cronin, one of them.
And this is here with 2 outs, Chad. I mean, you had the 1-out single by Blaze, but then the fly out by Curry signaled the second out, the single, and an RBI by Latona. The advancement of several bases off the skipping balls to Barbie, the single by Rideout, the single by Elliott, which brings us to the situation we're in right now with runners on the corners and 2 down.
Yep. 3 straight hits, 4 hits in the inning, and 3 runs in. So the righty, Reed Feely, with his 2-0 record, but only hurling 8 innings of work in a tight spot with runners at the corners. And he will face Kyle Orloff out of Cincinnati, Ohio, or as my partner called him, Marty.
Marty Brenneman, huh?
Or as he called himself, Marty.
He has. That's the
Are
story.
you allowed to nickname yourself? Sometimes.
Maybe.
Hey, if you're going to go 4 for 4 in a game, you call yourself whatever you want. We'll take it. Kyle Orloff did that yesterday in the ball game, going 4 for 4, scoring a run, driving in a run. Also had a double to go with it. So here's the deal. Runners at the corners, down by a run, are the Unicorns with 2 outs. And Kyle Orloff up, the leading hitter on this club at 378. Strike called on a breaking ball.
That's exactly what you want to do here if you're Reed Feely. Get that first strike out of the way, get a good feeling in a tough situation here.
To the set, the California kid deals, and he gets a generous call on the outside corner at the knee. Strike 2. Runners at the corners edging off. Down a run, Unicorns in the 7th. Barbie keeps it in front of him, and advancing down the line is Dan Elliott. Holding put is Rideout. So, I mean, Barbie has just been beat up. He's going to need something. I said a bubble bath earlier, but I mean, I really mean it now.
The ice bath, huh?
A jacuzzi bath, yeah, it's even better. No doubt. He's going to need something more than a bath bomb, put it that way, to make him feel a little better. Runners at second and third. Representing the go-ahead run is Elliott at second. The tying run is Rideout at third. The pitch. Up and away, and Barbie nearly lost that one too. Not his fault. Deuces are wild. 2-2 count, 2 outs. 2 runs in here in the 7th in a 1-run game. Ground ball left side, base hit. We are tied. Elliott trying to take the lead. The throw from left field home, and he is out at home. Out at home is the call, but not before. 3-run score in the inning, and we're all knotted up at 5 as we stand and stretch in Utica, Michigan.
Yeah, trying to be a little aggressive here, just waiting to slap on the tag, and in the end, that signals the 3rd out here.
We're coming to stretch it, and to the bottom of the 7th we go, tied at 5. A field goal in the top of the 7th has this game tied at 5 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 3 runs on 5 hits, and that last one, a Kyle Orloff RBI single, and then Elliott out at home to end the threat. But what a rally to get this thing tied. You wouldn't want to draw it up any other way on Championship Sunday. here at Jimmy John's Field.
No, we've been treated to 2 really good games the last 2 days here, and now we have another pitching change for the Utica Unicorns. It's Luke Dawson taking over here.
Dawson, a right-handed pitcher, and he comes to us by way of Stamford, Connecticut, and went to Bentley University. Jeremy's got the numbers on Mr. Dawson.
Yes, I do. I try to.
Well, the wind has blown all of our notes all over the place. My goodness. We'll get his numbers here in a minute. What a beautiful gust and day, but man, oh man, the information is spreading all over. They say spread the news. That just happened. So here comes Webb Little, the number 9 hitter for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. The Woolly Mammoths did all their damage early. They scored 2 in the first. They scored 3 in the third. But it's been all Utica since that point. They put up 1 in the 5th and then 3 in the 7th to make this a tie game.
Dawson with an elevated ERA of 6.75. He's only pitched 4 innings, given up 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 strikeout, and 3 walks thus far.
All right, so he's got a tall task here. Try to shut down this Westside Woolly Mammoth team, a hot team, winners of 5 of their last 6, 4 of their last 5. And trying for their first title. There's a weak grounder to second, and that'll be easily handled for the first out of the inning. Recorded by Utica. Bonicki to right out. So 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Sellout crowd on hand on this championship Sunday.
They've been treated to a good one, Chad.
They have. Ryan Dobson has been treated to a great time in this league since he came over from the Diamondbacks organization. As that pitch is wide off the throwing arm of the right-hander out of Stamford, Connecticut. Luke Dawson, 6'2", 225.
He's a guy that is an ultra competitor, has a lot of good at-bats, and wins them most of the time at this leadoff spot. Looking to snap his 0 for 3 right now. They did reach on that error back in the 3rd inning, came around to score.
Pitch is popped up. This should be an easy out, number 2 recorded, and Bonicki will handle it for the 2nd out. So 2 quick outs, and that'll bring up Sonny Cortez, who would like nothing more than to add on to his tally today after making that error. I know that's biting at him, but boy, he's done so much this season. That's not something that he's going to labor on too much.
Well, he got this Woolly Mammoths offense going in the 1st. Why not do it again here in the 7th? One big, mighty swing of the bat to right field changed the complexion of that game real quick.
Fly ball left field. Should be a 1-2-3 inning. It is, as Elliott makes the catch. Side retired. Let's go to the 8th. All that momentum on the side of the Unicorns. Can they ride off into the sunset with their 2nd title in 4 years? We're back after this. You're watching ESPN3 coverage of USPBL Championship Baseball. little Sweet Caroline kicking through the press box. Well, that's something that the starting pitcher for the Woolly Mammoths knows well. Matt Cronin, a Bostonian, and presumably a fan of the Boston Red Sox. He's humming along, and they play that at the Boston Fenway Park, of course.
Sure.
Here we go. Ashton Bardzell to bat for Utica, who's looking to ride their wave and momentum. They're on a 4-0 run since that third run scored to make it 5-1 for the Woolly Mammoths back in the third. There's a tapper up the middle that's going to get through, base hit. So Bardzell gets on to start things here in the 8th. And how about this continuation and this contagious hitting that's going on right now, Jeremy, for Utica?
Oh, sometimes you just have to ride the wave, and that's what they're doing right now. They sent 8 men to or make that 7 men to the plate in the 7th. The leadoff man gets on to start the 8th. That's been the trend, though, in the last 3 or 4 innings, the leadoff man getting on. They haven't always came around to score, but when you can do that, you set yourself up for some good things usually.
Yep. 5 straight hits now. Started with the number 2 hitter, Latona. It's continued on to Bardzell. Here comes De La Cruz. Go ahead run on it first. Top of the 8th inning. We're at a tie game. What a fitting way to end this wonderful banner season here at Jimmy John's Field in the USPBL title game. Inside, nearly nipped the front thigh of De La Cruz. He has fanned twice today and doubled.
And that double in his first at bat back in the second put a charge into that baseball into the gap.
He's out of the Bronx in New York. Is Adam De La Cruz. Pitch up and away. You'd think he was a Yankees fan growing up?
You'd think so. Maybe he's a Mets fan, though, you know.
He could be. There are Met fans out there, I suppose, somewhere. Throw back to first. Back safely with a slide is Mr. Bardzell. Unicorns, well, didn't exactly light it up to finish the year. Just 4-4 their last 8 games. But right before that, they went on a stretch from really the start of August to mid-August where they won 7 of 8 games. And that was their best stretch of the year. And they're playing baseball like they did during that stretch right now. Nobody out. Leadoff man on. Top of the 8th and a tie game. Back to first again. They're a bit nervous about Bardzell. Rightfully so.
And more often than not, every team in baseball, no matter what level you're playing, it's going to have their ups and downs. Just kind of the nature of this game and the volume of game. Even teams that lose 4 or 5 in a row or win 8 in a row, it's not really indicative all the time of what your final record is going to pull out to be.
That's right. Well, you look on paper at the hits, 12 hits for the Unicorns, and they are doubling up the Woolly Mammoths in that category. Left men on early, have not left men on lately. 5 straight hits. Can it be 6 straight hits? Not there. We're full.
Now, Feely was hoping for that call as well. It was close. The top/outer edges of the zone.
Righty Reed Feely deals. There goes the runner, and it's fouled back. As the wind continues to swirl into our booth. And
where's the paperweights? That was your job.
I drank all the waters that were paperweights, man. Parched. And I drank your water, too. That was one of my paperweights.
You did, yes. What's up with that? It's still over there. It's right there, isn't it?
I think so. It's somewhere. Yeah, it's holding out for dear life. It's got an ounce left of water. Runner edging off of first. And there he goes. And the same thing that happened last time. He ran, and he ran for nothing. It's a foul ball.
He's getting in the sprints here.
Yeah. Wrong time to get your sprints in. They're getting ready to sprint to the airport after this one. That'll be their last sprint for a while. But I'm sure there's training after this, right?
Sure.
They're going to go somewhere. Where is Adam De La Cruz going to go?
In the case of Brian Kluppe, you're going to be orchestrating those sprints in Australia, huh?
Kluppe is going back to Australia. You told me that he coaches there.
He does, yeah. Past 5 years. So there is no off season for Mr. Kluppe.
And there's all summer, no winter for him. Same thing happened again. Runner went and it's fouled back 3 times now. And really getting his sprints in for real now is Barzell.
So that's actually where he met his wife as well. She's from there.
Okay.
So
okay.
kind of a nice tie for her as well to be able to go back on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Well, that'd be awesome to go back. And be awesome to have, like, all summer all the time.
Sure.
Because you leave here, it's fall. When it's just becoming fall, and it's just starting summer in Australia, I believe. Yeah? Never been, but never been down yonder. Down under. It's awful. Got to work on that. I won't be going there to broadcast, apparently. There goes the pitch, swing and a miss. Strike him out. Did he throw him out? No. In a cloud of dust. The second base umpire gets it absolutely correct. It's a stolen base, but not without a strikeout. There's one out and a runner now in scoring position for the Unicorns here in the 8th.
That's a good job by Cortez, nonetheless, to stay with that ball, because by no means is that an easy play to collect that skipper of a baseball and put on a decent tag, which he did. But how about it, Barzell? Pays off in the end. He's running back and forth, and his final sprint is a slide into second base.
Trying to get one more sprint or two in. Bonicki trying to help it. Here's the pitch, down low. Barbie scoops it and keeps it in front of him. Nice snatch.
He's been active with those hands and chest behind home plate with all the balls that he's had to block. I mean, that 7th inning was a rough one. Not certainly all on him. We saw some of those on the pitcher as well in terms of balls in the dirt. But
one out swing, center field. Fieldable for Kitson, who will line it up. Also lining up is Barzell to tag. It's just a bluff. And there are 2 outs now in the 8th as the wind continues to blow in. Not something any of these hitters want. Beyonce here, okay. I'll take that. I love Beyonce.
Blaze at the bottom of the order here. He's 2 for 3 today with a couple singles. He came around to score in the 7th. So we've done a really nice job at the bottom of this order for this Unicorn squad.
They have. Trying to take their first lead of the day here in the 8th inning. Unicorns going to rely on their number 9 hitter Blaze, who scored a run after singling back in the 7th inning. As Jeremy just mentioned, runner on second, edges off. The pitch outside and low. 1-1.
Yeah, for a guy who checked in at 167 in the average column, delivering 2 hits in the championship game, those are the kind of performances that you lean on.
And help you get re-signed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's nice seeing all the host families getting honored yesterday, and you know, so many sacrifices by them. It does get overlooked, but not by this league. They really did a fine job of showcasing them and showing their appreciation yesterday. I thought that was a really nice touch by Andy Appleby and this league.
It's the other side of baseball. These guys aren't making millions of dollars to play here, but they're certainly getting the good experience and everything that unfolds.
Yeah, they deserve it. It's rewarding both ways. Fouled back, we stay at 2-2.
So those host families are absolutely necessary for these guys to be able to not only continue to do what they do, but make it feasible.
Yeah. Heartbeat of this league, really. Reed Feely's on the bump. The righty to the set. The 6-foot, 175-pounder from California looks back at second. Ground ball in between play, going to be a tough play, and it's going to be eaten up, and the throw back to third, not in time. Oh, a heady play by Dobson to throw behind a little and try to get Barzell leaning. They nearly caught him, But a fine job by that shortstop, Dobson, to make a heady play and eat that baseball. Sometimes those are the best plays.
And Barzell barely got that right hand back into the bag.
That was a close play, no doubt. Wouldn't mind seeing that. So runners at the corners as we get another look at that play, Jeremy.
Kind of ranging off the bag. Not getting that hand down right away, and little nearly, alertly, flop that tag on him.
And it keeps the inning alive now. And it flips the scorecard over to Coley Curry. So, Barzell at third, Blaze at first, and Coley Curry at the plate trying to drive in the go-ahead run and give the Unicorns their first lead of the game. 2-0. Latona lingering in the on-deck circle. He already has 2 RBIs in this game, his last 2 at-bats. Pressure cooker heating up for Feely. The pitch outside 3-0, and it looks like Feely wants nothing to do with number 1, Coley Curry, out of Jackson, Tennessee.
And you see them play this shift here, the shortstop on the second base side of the bag here. That's something the Unicorn staff doesn't really believe that they should be doing. They think, hey, this guy can hit it, from left field to right field. And the sample size isn't necessarily quite there that they believe that should be happening.
Right. Conversation now, Jeremy, and is this a spot where you make a move, or it looks like they do want to make a move, and it looks like multiple moves and points being made by the West Side's manager, Brian Kluppe.
So they're going to make it in the middle of this at-bat here in a 3-0 count. That's not an easy spot to inherit.
No.
If you're a guy trotting out of the bullpen, you need to throw a strike right now. Otherwise, we're going to have a bases-loaded situation.
In a championship game, nonetheless. So we've got a new pitcher coming in. Thanks for seeing that. I didn't think anybody's going to see that. And we are going to learn all about this right-hander for the West Side Woolly Mammoths coming in. And it is number 11, Brady Batten, out of Bryan, Texas. And Houston Baptist, a team that's been a ranked NCAA Division I team in the top 25 repeatedly. Jeremy's got the numbers on the young right-hander.
Yeah, Batten's a good one. 2.53 in the ERA, 10 2/3 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts compared to 6 walks, and a sliver of an opponent's batting average, .086.
Brady Batten, double B's, B squared, on in a tough spot. Bases loaded for the Utica Unicorns, a team that trailed in this game 5-1 at the end of 3 innings. And Jeremy, it's been a game that's tilted directions and has completely shifted, really at this point, back to Utica. But it's a spot that this game is still in the balance.
And obviously, if you're the Unicorns here, you don't want to just settle for just 1 run in this situation. If you can get the bases loaded here, if Ben indeed cannot throw a strike to Curry, you want to pile on a couple runs to make sure that your lead is safe the way this game is going back and forth early on.
So, tight spot in the 8th inning. And Utica, knowing their opportunities and the momentum they have, trying to add on, trying to get that lead run. They have out-hit the Woolly Mammoths tonight 13-6, but we are tied at 5.
So they're going to put on Curry here, Chad, not even deal with it.
All right, so Curry on at first. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Latona the hitter. Fastball upstairs. Brady Batten, the pitcher, on in relief. We've seen Cronin, Williams, Feely, and Batten. Nowhere to put him. The 1-0 pitch upstairs, 2-0. 2-0. Utica trying to take the lead here at the top of the 8th in this championship game. So the wind blows. Cross breeze. Gets away from Barbie. The throw to the plate. Not in time. In to score comes Barzell. And the Unicorns take a 6-5 lead here in the 8th inning.
And it was a perfect read by Ashton Barzell. He cut off from that third base bag right away. Good slide. He probably would have been safe even if Batten would have caught that ball cleanly all the way around. Good base running.
So the theme of this game has been pass ball, wild pitch. And it finally has come back to haunt the Woolly Mammoths. They trail 6-5 for the first time today. Big cut and a miss. Latona on 3-0 gave himself the green light. And why not with runners at second and third and your team already up one?
And trying to recapture some of that long ball game that we saw from him so often in the early part of the season.
And he walked him. So bases loaded, 2 outs. Same situation we had before the pass ball or wild pitch. Not sure how they scored that, but here comes Colin Rideout.
Well, before this inning, only 1 walk for this Woolly Mammoth pitching staff. It's opening up, though, here in the 8th.
Rideout, a big part of that 3-run 7th inning. He had the RBI single back in the 7th. That cut this game to a 2-run deficit. The pitch, ground ball to second. Routine play for Cortez. He'll scoop to Dobson at short to end the inning, but not before the Unicorns score a run on a bases loaded wild pitch / pass ball. It's 6-5 Unicorns as we head to the bottom half of the 8th. You're watching USPBL Championship Baseball on ESPN3. Bottom of the 8th we go. Here comes Will Johnson. New pitcher on in relief. It's Noah Clenny, the right-hander and the former product of the Wolfpack of NC State. He's also from Novi, Michigan. And he has been lights out since he has joined this league. There's a foul out of play. Utica has taken the lead in this game, and they did so last inning when Barzell led off, singled, stole a base, and scored a run on the RBI, or no RBI rather, on the pass ball. There's a ground ball to third. Easy play, routine play for De La Cruz. Throw to first. And there is quickly one out. Here comes Ethan Whisker, the MVP, a chance to tie this thing up. He has had long ball in his blood in the second half of the year. He's knocked out 12 of his 14 home runs since that All-Star break. This is a guy that won the Home Run Derby a year ago, and then in this year's Home Run Derby, just, I believe, finished rather back in the pack, and boy, did he turn it on after that. 46 runs driven and 14 home runs, but he pops it up here, and this could be the second out of the inning. It should be, and De La Cruz says it will be. 2 outs here in the 8th. Here comes Dan Williams. So you look at the numbers by Noah Clenny. Quite impressive. Opponents hitting just 243 against him. But he's been a guy that's really been able to lock down games. He has 7 saves. And is 7 for 7 in save attempts this year, 3-2 record. And a 4.46 ERA. 31 strikeouts against 13 walks is impressive. Pulls the string on Williams. He's ahead 0-1. 2 outs in the 8th. The Unicorns 4 outs away from claiming their second title in this 4th year here at Jimmy John's Field in the USPBL. Williams 1 for 3 today. Pitch down low. That one hit, though, by the way, was a impactful hit. It was a 2-run scoring single. And that happened back in the first. Fouled out of play. Williams trying to bite his old team. Swing and a soft fly. De La Cruz chasing. Fair territory, and he makes the catch on the run. With his back to the basket, he snatches it over the head to end the inning. A 1-2-3 8th. Let's go to the top of the 9th. Final at bat perhaps of the season for the Unicorns. 6-5 they lead it, trying to hold on. You're watching USPBL Championship Sunday. Four, 5, and 6 for the Utica Unicorns, who came in to this season really hot. They won 6 of their first 7 games and 9 of their first 11. Cooled off a bit mid-year, then heated up, and what really got their confidence going was that July 31st to August 15th stretch where they won 7 of 8. And despite just playing 500 ball their last 8 games, they have been resilient, and today they've been ornery and come back after trailing by 4 runs in this game. Lazy fly ball to left. This should be easily handled, and it is by Johnson. 1 out.
Yeah, 1 up and 1 down. Exactly what you want to see out of Brady Batten here. Decent job of weaving out of what was major trouble when he inherited in the 8th.
Yeah, he's shown a ability to certainly be a guy you think they want to bring back, Jeremy. Here's Kyle Orloff trying to get one more whack in. He has been very productive. RBI single his last time up. Tried to drive in 2 runs, but the throw to the plate nipped Dan Elliott.
It's one of those guys that came in late this season, done a really nice job and hitting in the 5-hole here in the championship game.
Game tying RBI. Then the go-ahead run last inning, scored by Bardzell on the pass ball. The 0-2 by Double B. Deals it, grounder to short, Dobson over to first, and Polchin retires Orloff. And there's quickly 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Bardzell, the last shots. Single for him. That started the rally in the 8th for this Unicorn squad.
Yes, sir. That should be the game-winning run if it holds up. Feel good for a guy that got rewarded after lining out in the 6th after a really good swing. And then finally getting rewarded with that base hit. Stick with us after. Brooke Fletcher will be with a coach and or player afterwards. Our player of the game. Stay tuned for that. Following the conclusion of this championship contest. Pitch down and off the leg of poor Jake Barbie, rather. Ground ball to short. Dobson will handle that one as well. 1-2-3 inning. Dialed up by Brady Batten, who did his part. They need to rally, though, if his team's going to come from behind and win their first USPBL title. Stick around. We got the finale right after this. This is USPBL Championship Sunday. Noah Clenny on for his 8th save. League-leading 8th save opportunity for the right-hander out of Novi, Michigan, and a chance to give Utica the championship. But Kitson, Barbie, and Polchin are due up 6, 7, and 8 for the Woolly Mammoths, the #1 seed, and they've got something to say about it. Chad Bush here with Jeremy Otto. Brooke Fletcher on the field. After the conclusion of this one, we'll have our player of the game. Clenny deals a fabulous off-speed pitch. 1-1 the count. Clenny, an imposing figure on that mound. 6'2", 215. Looks a little bit bigger than that, doesn't he, Jeremy?
He does.
He's put together well. Yeah. He puts 215 pounds into a body pretty well.
Absolutely. Don't want him bearing down on me in the right-hander's batter's box right now.
1-2 to Kitson. Got him on strikes. Good scoop by Latona. And the Unicorns are 2 outs away from title time.
The relievers have done a really good job of racking up these strikeouts on the batters down in fairly convincing fashion. We've seen a lot of them since Goodson has been out of the game. 6 to be exact.
It's been the bullpen that has really picked up this Utica team since Goodson's checked out. Luke Dawson, Noah Clenny. If I missed somebody, Max Bain, the other fella.
And it really is an artwork in a game like this and in the postseason to know when to put guys in and know when to take guys out.
Right.
Sounds so simple, but it's not at all. Not only knowing them, but knowing who's coming ahead, what the situation is.
Here's Barbie out of Statesville, North Carolina. He went to Liberty. So these guys familiar with each other's territories. Barbie's from North Carolina, playing in Michigan today. And Clenny's from Michigan and played in North Carolina in college. Strike called, got that nice bender over, 2-2.
And good job to establish himself right back in the zone there, even the count.
Foul back. Woolly Mammoths down to their final 2 outs. They trail it by 1, 6-5. The home team here at Jimmy John's Field. The crowd getting antsy. Nobody on, 1 out, 2-2 count. And Barbie hanging around tough.
And obviously this is a case of 1 and 2 in terms of the seed, but this is why you just have to get in.
No doubt. And they had to win yesterday. Fouled out of play. This is becoming a epic at bat. A couple of guys that don't want to go home or say goodbye to their last pitch or at bat.
Now if the Woolly Mammoths somehow do come back in this inning, you're going to circle this at bat as something that triggered it.
Popped him up. This should be out number 2 and should be handled by De La Cruz. He's handled several of these today, much tougher. That one an easy one, a can of corn. Utica 1 out away from claiming their 2nd title in 4 years. As Jimmy Latona embraces the batter who struts to the plate, the number 8 hitter for Brian Kluppe, and the last hope for the Woolly Mammoths and Jake Polchin, the first baseman. JJ joins us in the booth. He's grabbed his last bat of 2019. Swing. Looking for his 8th save. Tops in this league. Been lights out since he came over midsummer. Breaking ball. Last strike for the Woolly Mammoths. Utica, who trailed in this game 5-1 after 3. A strike away from coming from behind to win this thing. Brooke Fletcher down in the field, already selecting her player of the game. Clenny deals. Polchin, 3 home runs on the year. The wind, not a home run hitter's friend right now. Down a run. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Number off the end of the bat. Handled by right out the throw to Cleary. And this thing's over. Jubilee celebration, confetti on a Sunday. The title goes to the team that the town is named after. The Utica Unicorns are the 2019 USPBL champions. Lancelot joins the mess in the fray as they celebrate between first and second base and the purple tops and the gray bottoms. What a come-from-behind win here and a showcase and banner season in the USPBL. Jeremy Otto.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a Unicorn squad that worked up from the number 2 seed, won a game yesterday, got to this point here today, and had the luxury of celebrating a championship here today.
Brooke Fletcher down on the field, and we will hear soon with a player to be named later. But Jeremy, let's talk about this game, a game that saw a fast start by the Woolly Mammoths. They came out, had a 2-run lead in this game. I mean, it took some guts and gumption as we've now got Brooke Fletcher down on the field. Let's go down to Brooke Fletcher, who's standing by with the victorious Utica Unicorns.
I'm here with Jimmy Latona, catcher for the Utica Unicorns, now 2019 champion and MVP of championship weekend. Champion and MVP kind of has a nice ring to it. Describe how you're feeling right now.
This is awesome. I mean, we've had a great group of guys all year. We've been working our butts off all year, so this is awesome.
You guys started off slow, but you guys kind of got some momentum in the 7th inning. You put 3 runs on the board. What changed?
I mean, we knew the whole time. We just kept making jokes, like we're 1 possession away, just like a football game, just making jokes. And, I mean, we're a real light team. I mean, we're not very serious. We like to have a good time and keep it light. And, I mean, we just did what we always do.
Nolan Cleaney came in to shut it down. And what are your thoughts on what he was able to do to shut the game down today?
He's been unreal for us all year. I mean, he's been lights out coming in the game. So, I mean, with him coming in, we all knew what was going to happen. So.
This has been a season of ups and downs for you guys, but you guys came in, came into this weekend, you were dominant. What does it say about the resilience of your team for you guys to be able to come and win the championship here today?
I mean, it just shows like we're here, we grind every day. I mean, it's not easy to play here, and there's ups and downs. You go through, guys, you have long days, and I mean, it's just, we're a group that just comes in every day and works hard and doesn't really complain much.
How are you guys going to celebrate? That's the question here.
We're going to hang out here for a little while, I'm sure, and then you might find us anywhere on Utica.
All right, well, congratulations. Big win for you. Jimmy Latona, championship weekend MVP and 2019 USPBL champion. Chad?
Thank you, Brooke Fletcher. Appreciate that. Great work down there and all season long. Jimmy Latona, how fitting he gets honored, Jeremy. A guy in this game that was a big part of that 7th inning rally that saw a 5-2 ball game turn into a 5-5 game. He was a big part of it with an RBI in that 7th inning. Jimmy Latona, and he's been the heartbeat of this team.
Yeah, he's a guy when you talk to the coaches, he's a role model to everybody that shows up at the ballpark. He just does everything right behind the plate, does everything right at the plate as well, and came up with a big base runner and then some to really push this Unicorn squad to the next level and win this ball game.
It's been a great year. We talked about all the accolades this league has piled up, and it's all brought to an exclamation point ahead of this wonderful championship game. And it's been a great day and a fun season, and 9 pros, Jeremy, and all the accolades that they've had. But this is what this league's all about. Andy Appleby, Scott McDonald, I mean, these folks have built this is a wonderful product. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate you joining me and being a part of championship weekend.
Absolutely, and it's going to get a lot better as well as the league continues to get a good reputation in terms of getting players and getting recognition around the United States as well as one of the better semi-pro leagues in the country as well.
Well, that's going to do it for our championship coverage and for the season. USPBL 2019, a banner year, has come to a close as the Unicorns celebrate on the stage with champagne, some bubbles, popping bottles. Why not? They win it 6-5. ESPN3 coverage of USPBL Championship Baseball. Thanks so much, folks, for all the hard-working folks here. Brooke Fletcher on the field, my partner Jeremy Otto. My name's Chad Bush. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming out. Have a great season and night, everybody.